dumps, big, massive dumps.
And why their due process rights are being so flagrantly and horrifically violated.
Truth essential.
They don't want you talking about, hey, the size of that pack of tortillas that I just bought last week before it came out. They used to look like the regular corn tortillas. Now they look like mini tortillas. Same price, the same packaging. They don't want you talking about that.
But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
We're just normal men.
True.
What do you mean, normal men?
We're just innocent men.
It may not be Monday, but it is true. We are just normal men. What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? We're trying something a little bit different here. We're kind of everywhere, all over the place, all at once. And I actually have no idea how this even looks. You've really got me. Let's see. From what I can tell, I could be wrong, but from what I can tell, this looks all right on everywhere, right? From what I could tell, it is hard to tell. It says we may be skipping frames, but I don't know how much I believe that. It may just be all right. But let me know if you see any issues. I can't tell, to be honest. I can't tell. I have no way of telling. Oh shit, we're still set to night mode. From the old Justin stream. There we go. There we go. Shine a little light on the subject. Microphone works. Cool beans. All right. Let's see. Late night, not late night, late afternoon surprise stream. So we'll see what even happens here. Discord updates. Okay, we got a little commentary by Boy Meets Mini. Oh, that was the we did that last stream. The problem with authoritarianism, the second thought video. Jesus Christ! And to think there are people who actually watch that and were like, "Oh no, this is a really good video. I really enjoy this content creator." Yeah, wow, like just wow. I actually heard that today. From someone who was watching that and reacting to it like, oh wow, yeah, this is really good, this is really great. I hope this content creator puts out more content like this. Holy shit, dude, just wild. All right, so we've got a few things to pull out, but I did want to I guess
you got to start tanning your balls, bro.
Hell is that? Anti-comment on Twitch. Hey, what up? Thank you for the follow. I did want to go over a couple of different things that I'd seen this week. It seemed the beginning of this week was not good. What the hell is that? Fucking receipt? Oh, I know what that is. We don't need that. It seemed like the beginning of this week was really, really bad. Online for Wokelet's making the most insane arguments. I actually had someone ask me what's a Wokelet, and I think the best way to explain that would be to not so much on Twitter, but we could do it right here on stream. So let's check it out. So I saw this was posted on the 20th. So okay, I say this week. I didn't actually see it, I think, until like Monday or possibly Sunday. So we'll check it out. Is there a timestamp on this? 9:13 a.m. Okay, well, I guess it happened last week, but I didn't see it until this week. But we'll take a look at it anyway. So, Greta Thunberg had tweeted this out. Just the old solidarity pitch, right? Week 270, today we strike in solidarity with Palestine and Gaza. The world needs to speak up and call for an immediate ceasefire, justice and freedom for Palestinians and civilians affected. Stuck at work, gonna be quiet chat. It's all good. This is gonna be a short stream. We might come back a little bit later tonight, depending on how my work schedule goes. But hey, good to see you, Madarasa. Always wonderful to see you in chat. You're gonna love this. Oh my god, this entire segment was made for you. Okay, you're gonna love this. The world needs to speak up and call for an immediate ceasefire, justice and freedom for Palestinians and all civilians affected. Okay, then we got the hashtag Free Palestine, hashtag I stand with Palestine, hashtag stand with Gaza, Fridays for Future, right? All right, cool. All right, totally based. You've got to be a literal fucking, skinhead neo-Nazi fucking weirdo to not appreciate this, right? Good stuff. Great stuff. Love it. Fantastic. Fantastisch, right? Or whatever. We got the Free Palestine, the climate justice now. Woo! Big safe granola energy. Not the regular granola energy. Not my name is David Wolf and I like avocados. In fact, I think I'm going to change my name to avocado. Hey, did you know that Jews control the media? Not that kind of granola. No. Like the safe granola, like the nice, happy, like let's cut down on pick up turtles, buddy. Like the good granolas, right? This Jew stands with Palestine, stand with Gaza, okay. But this is an edited, this is a cropped image, right? Because I guess from what I hear, I don't know, I haven't asked her personally. But from what I hear, Greta Thunberg, has a bit of the tism, which is perfectly fine, perfectly cool. And, is a big fan of what are those things? I think they're called octopals. I could be wrong, but somebody said that. Somebody called it that. The octopals, right? Like you flip it one way and it's like, meh. You flip it the other way and it's like, meh. Right? Yeah, it's a cute little fucking cephalopod thing, right? In fact, if you go on Twitch right now, maybe not right now, but my screen just went out. Fuck. All right, hold on. We got to fix this. Now I'm going to tell you about Skidadeer. What the fuck is going on with this fucking TV? Jesus Christ. I love it. It's the best. It's the absolute best. Yeah. Work? On now? Can you just hang out and do TV stuff? Yeah. You got that? It's like all you got to do is just like turn on and display. Show me things. Right? Yeah. You gotta come over here and sit my fat ass back down here, right? Okay. And boom, we're back. All right, what's up? What's up, everybody? This is your boy Chainsaw. All right. So, pretty neat, pretty cool, like pretty whatever, right? No big deal. We like this. We are enjoyers, right? But she had that on her shoulder next to her during this image. And obviously it was, making the face, right? It was, again, you can go on Twitch right now, not right now because probably not on right now, but like at some points during the day, we got another streamer named Skidadeer, right? Big cephalopod enjoyers. In fact, we have some of Skidadeer's emotes in chat, right? The whole moniker is that like Skidadeer is a cephalopod, cephalopodica, right? Encyclopedia Ceph. Eroth, right? Cool. All right. So what's the issue? What's the problem, bro? Well, she cropped the image because she was getting some wild feedback. It has come to my knowledge that the stuffed animal shown in my earlier post can be interpreted as a symbol for anti-Semitism. Which I was completely unaware of because those dumb fucks just made it up. I mean, they didn't make it up per se, but they just totally made it up. Okay, yes, there is propaganda that is anti-Semitic that does come from, 19th, 20th century sources that they did use, I think it was an actual squid, to represent the weird anti-Semitic whatever Nazi fuckery conspiracy shit, right? All that whole David Wolf thing I said a second ago, right? I don't know that David Wolf actually feels that way. I'm just saying like he's a creepy granola and those people shouldn't be trusted. But then also a lot of the people who follow that kind of creepy granola stuff totally are into that ideology anyway, or it's a good pipeline, to the alt-right. But fucking some fucking buddy, and from what I've heard, the person who originally posted this and made the big fucking deal about this was actually themselves a neo-Nazi, and also posted weird neo-Nazi shit on their social media and whatever. So, but the problem is, though, this was co-opted by woke scolds to hammer Greta. And they hammered her so fucking hard that they bullied her into cropping the image and fucking apologizing for it. It's come to my knowledge that stuffed animals shown in my earlier post, the literal autism octopus, right? For like nonverbal autists, right? Can be interpreted as a symbol of anti-Semitism, which I was completely unaware of. The toy in the picture is a tool often used by autistic people as a way to communicate feelings. We're, of course, against any type of discrimination and condemn anti-Semitism in all forms. That's the entire fucking, point of the post, in fact. This is non-negotiable. That's why I deleted the last post. So they bullied Greta so fucking hard that she's standing in solidarity slightly less. She made this whole like big thing to be like, oh yeah, we got this message. We want to get out there. And some fucking dipshit neo-Nazi posted some fucking dumb shit. But then every fucking woke skull battalion in the goddamn social media sphere saw that and was like, oh, well, what she's doing is actually problematic and we're taking away from the messaging. They're literally taking away from the messaging. The messaging was supposed to be, hey, genocide bad, my dude. That was the messaging. And instead it ended up being, oh, well, this is anti-Semitic. You know what this is? You know what this is? You know what the fuck this is? I'll tell you what the fuck this is. This is last year. And I think I might have mentioned this on last stream. Remind me, on a different topic. This is last year when Major Tom got bullied off of fucking social media. Okay. This is actually ringing a bell. Did we cover this last stream? I don't even know. It's been like a week. But this is literally when Major Tom got bullied off of social media for posting the camping meme, right? This is literally whenever I got canceled last year, for making the comment that transphobic trad wives like fucking Amy Coney Barrett should be learning to fucking bake bread instead of making life more and more miserable every single fucking day. For people who have uteruses. And then all the woke scold rad femmes were like, I can't believe chainsaws is a misogyny saw. That's exactly what this is. That's all this is. What up, Warlord? Good to see you, buddy. That's exactly what this is. It's all it is. It's all it ever will be. And these people do clearly have real life consequences, which is why it's perfectly fine, I think, to be more vocal about it and to be more critical of these fucking dipshits who post shit like this. I mean, Jesus Christ, just look at this shit. Community accounts where you find information to help. I thought it was just a stuffed animal. It's how is the octopus anti-Semitic? I'm embarrassed to say that I have no idea what this is for. I feel like I missed out on something epic. Are you for real? In what way is it? People are like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Like, I have no idea what this even means, right? What do you mean? Cancel Greta, right? That's literally what they're saying is, what do you mean? Okay, do I dare dig down on this? Nope. All right, so we're gonna stop digging. Okay. I think I have another link that kind of goes hand in hand with some of that there. Of a good example. Okay. So real quick, before we move on to the Jessica Metal comments. Let's see. Oh, that's a different thing. Oh God, it's a whole fucking thing. Jesus Christ. Okay, so we did talk about this last time on stream, but we didn't talk about all of this last time on stream. I see. So we'll do a little bit more of a deep dive because the shit got fucking dumber. It got fucking weirder. It got more cringe, and I don't know. It's a wild week. Okay, it's not good. And I have so many examples of why all of this shit is so bad. So bad. And why, to be honest, if you're a leftist, it's entirely your responsibility to fight back against this dumb shit because this is what it causes. Okay, so what? That's the same one. That's literally the same one. All right, cool. Okay, great. Cool. Good example. Good job, guy. All right. So there was like a whole fucking article, I think. I don't know. Let's check it out. Maybe. Cancel Greta. True. We are canceling Greta. We're canceling Greta right here. Right here, right now. We're doing it. All right. Greta Thunberg deletes pro-Palestinian post featuring anti-Semitic trope. Claims she was completely unaware. Oh, wow. Well, you know, the New York Post. Long history of you know, definitely not a rag. Definitely not a tabloid for sure. Greta Thunberg, okay. Greta Thunberg was accused by Israeli officials. Oh, nice. Okay. Big fucking dicks. True, Warlord. Good to see you in site chat, buddy. Which, by the way, if you're lurking around somewhere else, site chat links, you know, down below in the description. ChainsawCCC.com. You figure it out. There's a help button if you're confused. Greta Thunberg was accused by Israeli officials of being a terror supporter Friday after posting pro-Palestinian messages, initially featuring a toy octopus known as a known anti-Semitic trope. What? Stop that. Stop that. The 20-year-old eco... Stop it. I don't give a shit. Jesus Christ. All right, I'll close Discord, for fuck's sake. What is going on here? I'm not going to close Discord. Fuck you. I do what I want. All right. I will pull up site chat over here so I can read this. All right. Greta Thunberg was accused by Israeli. Okay. The 20-year-old eco-warrior posted a photo of her holding a Stand With Gaza sign alongside three friends. One holding a free Palestine. Okay, we saw that. With them was a toy octopus, a symbol often used in anti-Jewish propaganda since being used in a Nazi-era cartoon. The Time Person of the Year honoree later deleted the photo, replacing it with an almost identical one, just without the offensive symbol, about which she protested innocence. It's come to mind now. Okay. Instead, the eco-warrior, who was previously discussed being an autism spectrum, claimed the toy was in the picture was a tool often used by autistic people to communicate. Okay, so this was the original. Okay, so this is the anti-Semitic problematic. I can't believe she would do that. Israeli officials losing their fucking balls and being like, how dare she? That's it. That's the one. That's it right there. We found the culprit. That's it. That's what we got. Okay. Just so we're all clear on this. We got Israeli officials. We got every fucking woke scold fucking shitbag on Twitter losing their fucking marbles about this. Okay. Of course, neo-Nazis, they love it too. Her messaging, even without the octopus, grew disgusted condemnation from his Israeli Defense Forces spokesman, Aryeh Sharuz Shelikar. Whoever identifies with Greta in any way in the future, in my view, is a terror supporter, the enraged IDF official told Politico. Because what Greta is doing, that she is now showing solidarity with Gaza while not saying a word about the massacre of Israelis, shows that she's in favor of the Palestinians, but that she is sweeping the terror of the Palestinians or Hamas and Islamic Jihad under the table as if it did not exist. Other officials also ripped Thunberg, who also shared on Instagram a post from German-based Palestinian group that called Israeli retaliatory airstrikes in the Gaza Strip a genocide. It's not the octopus that makes this tweet, that makes this all tweet feel very autistic. Okay. It's complete denial of torturing, raping, beheading, kidnapping thousands of Israelis. Israeli diplomat Dana Filber wrote. Former journalist Doran Herman shared a graphic that read, Greta Thunberg supports ISIS in bold letters. Say you're against anti-Semitism, yet you cannot say a word to condemn Hamas or express solidarity with the 1,400, including children, that were slaughtered. Human rights lawyer and self-described proud Zionist. Oh, that guy. That's the guy who drew the IDF or whatever the fucking the foot on top of the Palestinian roach, right? This guy literally did the thing. He literally did the we're stamping out degenerate subhuman this is the guy who literally did that. I remember that name. Yeah. If you don't, if you don't recall that tweet, I think this pussy deleted it. So, sorry. Hashtag blame YouTube. True. Yeah, we may be dropping a few frames. We're trying something a little bit different. Remind me later on the cord that I have a hot take on the Israel issue. Oh God, fair enough. Remind you in the cord. Gotcha. No, I think Will Raw, good to see you, buddy. I think all of my hot takes have been had led to some attempted cancellations on me also. Yeah, apparently. Now I will say this, okay? And as we discussed this previously on stream before, there is a crowd of tanky supporters, tanky enjoyers, authoritarian, second thought fans who very much, despite what anybody who will tell you, okay, I don't think that anybody's misleading you. And this is just me talking to the audience. I don't think that anyone is actually misleading any of you. Okay. But what I do think is that a lot of people are unaware that there are several accounts, streamers, organizers, whatever, content creators of whatever caliber and degree and of popularity and whatever, who absolutely most certainly have been cheering on Hamas since the beginning of this. Okay. It's not just like I don't think that because I've heard this so much from so many people that I don't think that, a whole lot of people, or I don't think that anyone's, on the left or in the online left or whatever the fuck is like, conflating Hamas with the average Palestinian, right? Or the average, Gazan Palestinian. I don't, and a lot of people don't, but several do, and several have, and it's significantly larger, I think, than most folks think. Mostly that those folks who do and who have are mostly in community with each other, and so it sort of just like brands out this whole like sector of the online left that's doing this. And you might miss it now because this was weeks ago when the initial incident happened in Israel against Israeli civilians and whatnot. So obviously that's not a thing that they're talking about so much. They're talking about the other side of this, which is, again, more civilian casualties from fucking genocidal maniacs. This time, this state of Israel. But yeah, I might be one of the only people who doesn't forget all of that that I'd seen, and so just to let you folks know, keep your fucking eyes open, my guys and gals and MB pals. It's a lot more prevalent than you might think, and a lot more close to home than you might think. I do what I want. True. Hamas, which is based in Gaza Strip, frequently has been compared to ISIS since its attack in Israel. Shalakar later walked back his comment on Thunberg's supporters, telling Politico that he spoke out of a deep sense of pain, and his words do not reflect my personal views or those of the IDF. Right? Everybody be walking back their dumbass fucking statements and deleting tweets and all that shit. I'm gonna stop deleting tweets. I'm gonna start making the biggest, dumbest, goofiest fucking tweets, hot takes, fucking just dropping them as soon as they come out. No filters, no teeth, no nothing. I'm gonna just start spitting just dumb shit for no reason, and then just leaving it there for future generations to find. Excavate. My dick's comment finally appears after 10 minutes. What? That is so sad. You got to hit the live button, maybe. I don't know. That's wild. God, that's restream though. That could just be an issue there. Honestly, probably the quickest one, the most like Marco Polo fucking action on the stream is going to be Facebook, sadly enough. But don't go there. It's desolate. but it's probably the quickest one because restream. I mean, you notice this on Justin's stream too, that YouTube is specifically significantly slower than anything else. I might see if I can reconfigure the order. I don't know that that'll matter or if I even can, but if I can, we might try that. I don't know. Backlash against Toonbug's Gaza stance comes just 3 days after she was arrested in an anti-oil protest outside a five-star hotel in London on Tuesday. She was charged with a public order offense and was released on bail until a November 15th hearing at the Westminster Magistrates Court. Power of NA internet is so good. Shit, I think mine's just gonna get worse, to be honest. But we'll see. Okay, so like Nazis, the like literal Nazis. Like, I'm not just saying like, I'm not saying that to be like facetious or whatever, and be like, oh, I mean authoritarian fascists and they're authoritarian right. They're like actual Nazis, right? Be enjoying this, they loving it. Woke scolds, of course, jumping all over this shit. And so let's continue on the anti-woke scold discourse, shall we? So Jessica Metal posted this fucking banger. The activist teenager made valid criticisms of an apartheid state. Better sidestep that and claim her having a squid stuffed as is actually doing an anti-Semitism. We live in the worst timeline, which is true. Shuffle. Okay. Yeah, no, totally true. Gave it the retweet, gave it the like. But it gets wilder. As I mentioned before, some of the supporters, of course, actual anti-Semitic Nazis, goose stepping, bootlicking, no rhythm having, they can't do it. They can't do it. I don't know. I don't know what it is. They can't do it. And then, of course, the woke scold community enjoying this, and there's not a lot of overlap there. It seems like idpoll might be a not very good effective way for progressive leftists to do discourse, right? Because it gets co-opted by the right in the absolute worst ways. Completely expected overlap, to be honest. I'll warn you now, it's an absurdly spicy take. You may well get yelled at for my take. Woohoo! Like, are you going to yell at me if I disagree, or if I tell other people they're going to yell at me because they want to yell at you and they yell at me by proxy? I don't. Interesting. Will you run your own shit so they can go fuck themselves? Run my own shit? I always try to run when I got to take a shit. In my age, it's kind of a serious matter. Give take warlord. Guys, I can't believe I actually managed to achieve the impossible. I got him to stop tweeting about J.K. Rowling. Let's see. Oh, okay. So this crazy bitch was retweeting Greta. Nothing quite summarizes the last 5 years of my politics and the fact I knew instantly Greta Thunberg and her pals had likely placed the blue octopus there in homage to something much more sinister. I hate that I know the motifs now. Okay, so let's imagine we only saw that, and it's like, oh God, is this person like insane? Is this person like a weird woke scold? What's going on? Nope, literally just a fucking turf. Literally just some fucking turf. Fucking bitch. Okay, cool. So of course, yeah, completely expected overlap to be had. Okay, yeah, all right, cool. Right, your family you haven't spoken to in like the last 6 years, lady. No one loves you but your cat, and they be side-eyeing you, type shit. Okay, cool. All right, expected. Okay, is this more? This is sort of related, so I pulled it up. Jess Piper's having an anti-tanky art. I kind of love it. You can, I don't even know if Jess Piper knows what the fucking word tanky is. She might by now, but I know that Adam Sommer had a hard time with this. It was funny because, like, somebody, I think it was just him. Either somebody commented something or he had come across the word and tweeted out, "What's a tanky?" And I'm like, oh my God, my dude, are you fucking serious? And then I gave, the explanation and he's like, I went to school for political science and I've never heard that word in my life. And I'm like, well, how old is your Twitter account, per se? Didn't take me long, buddy. You can wish in one hand and shit in the other, but I know which will fill up quicker. You may wish that we had a more progressive nominee, but I'm voting for Biden because I have kids and grandkids that will long outlive me and deserve to have a planet and democracy. No, and that's real. Like, despite all of the dumb fucking takes out of Democrats, most Democrats at the national level, to be fair, the squad seem to be throwing all kinds of W's. And to be honest, I've been seeing a lot of local Dems, candidates throwing all sorts of dubs lately. So that's good. Because my first thought when all this stuff happened was, listen, if you're a Democrat and you follow me, like I tweeted that out, I think. You're a Democrat, you follow me online, you follow me on Twitter, you follow wherever, just shut the fuck up. Don't say a goddamn fucking thing, because whatever you say is probably going to be fucking insane and fucking brain dead. Just don't say a goddamn thing, right? And then I seen Cory Bush, throwing dubs, and I'm like, oh, wow, let's fucking go. And I think, a couple of candidates I've seen, oh God, I can't even think right now. But I've seen a couple of local candidates. I think a couple of local state reps, that had good opinions on this. Not as much bad opinions from local Democrats as I expected. Not like some of the dumb fucking shit we've been seeing out of Biden with this regard. But at the same time, election season's coming up. Got to toe the party line. And at the, if we really consider, there's nothing that this man could do that would make him a worse candidate for president than Donald Trump. Okay. As the days go by and more information comes out about Republicans, especially with this new speaker situation, I mean, really, you're not going to vote. You're going to vote third party. You're going to, my God, like absolutely fucking brain dead shit. Facebook bag discourse. Oh, did you check the Facebook? I don't know. I'm hoping it looks good. It's probably, like I say, it's probably the more Marco Polo, but I'm just hoping it looks good. Oh, hey, we got ATG in the Facebook. What up, ATG? Good to see you, buddy. Or Rain. They're all ATG, I guess, over there. But what up, Rain? Good to see you, buddy. Hey, come on over here, and if you're still over there hanging out in Facebook comments, come over here into the site chat. If you have a little trouble, we got the help button. Should help you get signed in. But yeah, good to see you. We got all the emotes over here. You're going to love it. Do not cancel Chainsaw. What the fuck? Okay. We read that? We read that. Okay. There's an old line there's an old line that rings true. Democrats fall in love. Republicans fall in line. Oh, never heard that. She's a little bit older than me though. Damn. Some goose stepping ass shit right there. Can't afford progressive purity. Boom! I didn't even read this. This is the first time I'm seeing this. I just read the first one and was like, bookmark. Good for you. I didn't even read the rest of this shit. I'm not gonna lie. Holy fucking Jesus. Oh my God. They yell at you for platforming such a wild take. Yeah, I know, right? No. You're a wild take. I mean, I'm curious. Well, behind that message. Yeah, well, I'm not really. Look. Platform chats are to be ignored. Okay, you fuckers are especially that one, because I can't. It doesn't work on OBS. Okay, so you fuckers are special because I already had Twitch chat up over here. And then I got site chat like right next to it on the other side of my window here. Because like I have YouTube chat on the other side, but like, who the fuck's going over there? But definitely if you're enjoying the stream, don't forget to like the VOD, yo. The more likes we get, people say, at least Demon Mama says, and I believe Demon Mama, if you like the VOD, then more people see that we be streaming and then we get more people in. Also, Warlord, I'm gonna fucking mod you at the end of the day, so watch out. How do we do that? I'm gonna do that real quick, actually. Yeah, you're a fucking Twitch mod now. Yeah, what do you think of that shit? Haha, you're getting the old Justin Freakin' treatment. There you go, buddy. Good job. Yeah, I don't even know. See? YouTube's chat's dead. Fuck them guys. Yeah, I didn't even read this though. That's fucking awesome. Okay. I can't afford. I hope so many fucking people who follow her. I swear to God. Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me. Are you listening? I hope so many fucking people who fucking follow her that I fucking know read it. I'm gonna fucking quote tweet that shit later. Oh my God, with my own commentary. I can't afford progressive purity in a presidential candidate. I can't afford to let Trump and the worst folks on the planet take democracy away from my kids. I feel like those are two separate statements. I feel like the utility can be separated, and that the first one is so fucking useful, especially toward the lack of intersectionality that we see on the left. I just, you guys know. You watch my stream enough to hear me ranting about things. Someone on the left. Anyone on the left. Is there anyone? Is there another path to 270? True. Is it because you knowingly support having a vegetable being in control or influenced by at least 4 governments? The great choice. Okay, whatever. Anyway, so fuck yeah, dude. Like Jess Piper's anti-tanky arc, unknowingly, I'm going to manipulate her tweet in the most positive way to be an anti-woke scold messaging. Love it. Fuck yeah. We'll highlight that and fucking quote tweet that shit and then share that shit. And oh yeah, that's a good one. I like it. Let's bookmark that shit. Bam. Okay, but anyway, if Adam Summer don't know, Jess Piper be learning. So fuck yeah. Okay, not there yet. So I posted this elsewhere on social media, but I think the best way to show this one off is literally going to be to zoom it in, and I'll post this to you guys in this form instead. Okay, where is it? Let's grab it. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. Yeah, that'll be the easiest way, I think. So I literally saw this the other day, and it made my fucking brain explode. This, I think this one has since been deleted also, because cowards. There was a whole ass video of this lady, some Australian lady, buying a sushi place or renting a building or some shit. New speaker hype. I know, right? God, it's big. It's big. Oh, do we not have the Prage emote? Why? I thought I put it in there. Oh, we do. Yeah, it's big. Oh, I'm not signed into that chat. Okay. It's big this energy, okay? For reals. That's the Speaker of the House. That's the House of Representatives right now. The whole thing. Just all of them. Fuck them. It's all that right now. Just a whole lot of it's wild. So this chick in New York City, right? Australian chick. Obviously she's has less melanin than me, right? Yeah, I said it. Rented a spot, commercial spot in New York City, started a sushi place or some shit. I don't know. I don't fucking live in New York City and I don't give a shit. It's none of my fucking business. But apparently made a video or a TikTok or something and it somehow got posted online and there were comments or something and whatever. And then this dipshit, I think, had responded or quote tweeted or both, maybe. And of course, we grabbed it. So let me read this to you. The contradiction and cognitive dissonance is maddening. She feels that she can't afford decent sushi in New York City, a place that has one of the largest and vastly diverse Asian populations. So instead, she finances her own sushi spot. Colonization is white and quite scary to see in real time. Bro, we are literally seeing fucking colonization, happening in real time, in the Levant, and we're seeing the results thereof. We're seeing what inevitably will very well could lead to a massive situation over there. One starting with Gino and ending inside, possibly. If shit continues in the way that it's been announced that it will continue otherwise. I had somebody on Facebook a few months back making a remark about Keffels inventing the word genderqueer. I don't know what else you would describe someone with this sort of mindset. Okay, it's quite well fitting, I think, for someone named Queer Latifah online. Okay, that's all there is. New mod collection hype, true. And where we can mod you over here too, buddy. But yeah, I don't know what else you would call that. Some people don't like the word woke scold, and I think that's kind of wild, personally. But everyone has preferences, and sometimes I care. But it just, holy shit, dude. Okay, we got Warlord. All right. Now you and Mata Ursa can fight in the chat for real. That'll be a fair fight, at least. I think that should, there you go. Purity. True. Anyway, holy shit, though. So is this continuing the woke scold arc? I think so. Oh, okay. I think this was the end of it. This was a whole thread. I don't care for YouTube homeless people. How you fail in a world that was built for you. This reminds me a lot of some of the discourse that you see from radical feminists, who talk about the actual systemic harms of patriarchy, but then gear that more to individual men or men as a whole, or trans men or non-binary people, or just anybody who's AMAB in general. Of course, trans men are gender traitors, so they are also kind of funny. I was talking to somebody the other day about the differences between TERFs and TERFs, right? In how TERFs are just radicalized at the idea of the predator prey dynamic of gender essentialism, and how radfems basically will take that and only be inclusive to trans women, mostly because they just don't want to be called TERFs, but will still use that predator-prey dynamic, and are mostly just confused about non-binary people. Gender fluid people, I've never even heard of this. Forget about it. I would hate to even consider what their thoughts are regarding neos and xenos, right? But this kind of reminds me of that in a way, of how we'll take of a real systemic issue, like in this case, I guess it would be white supremacy, right? And just boil that down to its most essentialist rhetoric as a way to confirm our biases against an entire group of people, regardless of the situation at the individual level, and just for no reason. I mean, this is just a somebody looking for excuses to be racist, and we found it. And of course, liberals will fail at this because they're bad with idpol. They love it. It's their best friend. Again, all the things that we just discussed. Major Tom getting kicked off of social media, Me getting attemptedly canceled last year for misogyny saw arc. You know, it's all basically the same thing. What do you want? Come here. Get over here. If you want attention, come over here and get it. Why do you think I'm streaming? We both get attention. Come here. Hey, what up, Vinny? Good to see you. Dicks out for glorified pre-recorded video. True. Dicks out for kitties. What do you think? Baby kitty. Baby kitty. Say hellos. You get all wrapped up in the what do you think? What's baby kitties? Oh. Snuggly. This is the friendly one. And by friendly, I mean she only likes me. She will literally eat the Yorkie, and she also torments the other kitty, which is her mom. So I guess we both have that in common. But then again, the mama kitty will torment her, so I guess we also have that in common. All right. You hang out right there, I guess. That's what we're doing. All right. So that's what we got there. I think that's the Wokelet shit, right? I think that's all for the Wokelet shit. All right, cool. So then this was brought to my attention today. Is that the one? Oh man, yeah. On Telegram, right? Somebody sent this shit in that was sent to them by someone who was very concerned. And so I figured we would take a look at it and make fun of these dipshits and do a little bit of transphobe phrenology, if you will, right? A 50-year-old man who identifies as a woman competes against 13-year-old girls in a swimming competition. Okay. What? First of all, holy shit. Would you believe that people don't know that this is propaganda? Like normies, grillers, they see this and they don't realize that it's propaganda. I mean, it's not even good propaganda, but they don't know. They don't realize that shit, right? They're not exposed to this stuff at a you know, whatever. Like, unlike all the rest of you terminally online fuckers, and myself included, real-time Kappa, right? Absolute fucking ghouls put this shit together, right? And in so many ways, and we're gonna dig into that just a little bit. God damn it. Trans age is the fucking why would you do that? Trans age is the new thing. Riley Gaines reacts to swimming competition allowing 50-year-old transgender swimmer to compete with teenage girls. Okie dokie. Women's rights activist. Women's rights activist. She's a women's rights activist now. Okay. Right? Well, I don't think I noticed that before. Riley Gaines is a women's rights activist these days, folks. I did see that you can book her online and she'll do speaking tours and shit. She'll come to your work and talk to you. It's like the opposite of HR. For realsies. Criticized the swimming championship that allowed a 50-year-old biological male to compete against teenage girls in Toronto. The 23-year-old was stunned that the organization decided to overlook the unfair gender and age difference. Vermin like this woke scold retard shit should be cut off from all food and other resources not made by their... I mean, I only disagree through consistency. Otherwise, if I'm not consistent, I'm not anything. But otherwise, I'm with you. It's wild. It's absolutely fucking wild, since that's what seems to matter to them most. They should be forced to live their own ideals. Right. Fucking stop eating fucking, you want to talk about noodle discourse? Well, guess what? You ain't getting no more of. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's fucking crazy to me. As an Asian person who lives in rural America, I will definitely tell you that whenever I was a kid, the only white people I knew who ate with chopsticks were the white people that like personally knew my family, okay, and had grown up with my mom or my uncles, and you know grew up going and visiting with like them, and knew my grandma and ate the food and like knew that shit. And then their kids obviously were closer to my age, so like they like they brought that shit home. I mean, that's how cultural diffusion works, right? But now like now that I'm like 100 and shit, I go out and I see white people everywhere eating with chopsticks. I mean, like dating a girl or whatever, and like I'll make like fried rice or whatever the fuck, or we'll go out and eat something or whatever, and then I'm like, oh yeah, can get a pair of chopsticks or whatever, and then she's like, oh yeah, give me one too, and I'm like, but you're blonde, round eye, like you know how to eat with chopsticks? And they're like, yeah, I've been doing this since I was a kid. I'm like, that's a thing? Like, it's so exciting to me, or if I just go out and I see people, whole bunch of pale face, blue-eyed motherfuckers, 8 to 80, and they all got chopsticks and shit, and they all like doing it correctly. I'm just like, easy clap, fuck yeah, let's fucking go. So the idea that anybody has like negative feelings about this is completely fucking insane to me. The idea that people who aren't Asian have negative feelings about this is so fucking disingenuous. It's unbelievable. The fuck is yeah, no, it's YouTube. It's literally YouTube. That's all I can think whenever I see this shit is YouTube. And that includes no spices or seasonings apart from what their own ancestors would have had, since that would be cultural appropriation and colonization. Wow, we're about to have pumpkin spice discourse. I'm here for it. Vinny, you here for it? Literally. Young trans? No, that could be. That could be. Well, certainly, retards use white as shorthand for white. Oh, you didn't know? Yeah. It's an online thing. It's specifically an online woke scold thing. It's to short because they only exist on Twitter. So they have to, and they're constantly talking about all the white people are bad. Like that's their whole personality is that like white people are bad, and like a lot of them are white people. And it's insane. A lot of them are anti-miscegenation, which I absolutely fucking love. As a mixed person, I think it's absolutely wonderful. One thing I had noticed though, and this is not as well documented as I would have liked whenever I discovered it, is that a lot of the content creators, it seems, and a lot of the bigger names, who are very anti-miscegenation, not all of them, of course, but a lot of them, either are the children of miscegenation or were adopted by white families or partially white families or whatever, or they have like one white parent, or they have white grandparents somewhere, or whatever it is. It's all like this dissociative like relationship and some sort of fucking weird guilt. Now I can say this, there is some truth to the matter of being a minority, being an ethnic minority, and being raised around a bunch of people who do not share your background or whatever. Like you go to school, you whatever. And you're the subject of racism, like real racism, not the fucking dumb shit you see online, but like a real racism, right? There is some truth to that, and feeling a sort of dissociative whatever with your ethnicity. That is a thing that mixed people and people of color do go through, that are raised in those sorts of environments. But I think what this is actually a reactionary response to that. The moment they're like, oh, why can't I have blonde hair and blue eyes just like, Sally down the street? They're like, you know what? Fuck Sally down the street, and fuck her mom, and fuck her grandma, and all those people are the devil, and I'm literally Blitler now. Or Jitler, or Chitler, or Mittler, or whoever the fuck you are, right? I think it's literally just that. to be honest. Chainsaw's reading chat. Read chat, you fuck. I am reading chat. It just, I'm also really pretty, so I look at me too. Just taking 10 minutes for you, for us to reach Chainsaw present. No, the chat comes in quick. It's just taking a little bit for you guys. Chainsaw, we might take about cultural I did, didn't I? Where was it? I just did. No spices. Fuck you, no pumpkin spice. You don't get none. You don't get forks. None of you get chopsticks, mostly. Yeah. Yeah, no, we did that. Chainsaw bad form to ignore chat, you miss. Or dank and base pills we selling. I mean, I got it. There is a little bit of a delay. Blame Restream. This is all Justin's fault. To be honest. I could have just streamed on Twitch and just been perfectly fine. You know. Actually, Matt Ursa, this is your fault. This was all your idea. Technically. Like, why don't you just stream like Justin does and just put it over here and over there? I'm enjoying it. What's the problem? I think it's great. You guys don't like it? I'm sorry. Okay. But yeah, no, I literally think that's all it is. Is just a reaction to that dissociation from oneself by being in that environment. And you could look for yourself. A lot of these creators will talk about their history and their upbringing and whatever, and you can always find that they either have white parents or one white parent or somebody. And I can't help but think that's exactly what that is. And I grew up with a white parent too. I in fact even had white grandparents, believe it or not. Not all of them, of course, but you know how it goes. So former NCAA swimmer Gaines has been actively working towards protecting the rights and security of women in sports. She believes to have herself suffered unfair gender practices in swimming when she competed against Leah Thomas, a biologically male swimmer in the 2022 NCAA finals. Well, I feel like we are going full circle here with the woke scolds, because this is literally what started all that situation. Look, I try to eat with chopsticks, but I'm still terrible with them. It takes practice. That's racist to be better. True. So unironically, this is actually how we got started with the woke scolds, at least how I did anyway. Because all of the transphobic trad wives decided that they wanted to comment on this specific event. And this is where we became the most correct. Where the term arc truly started. That's trans inclusive radical misogyny for the folks at home. Term superior. Taught myself to use chopsticks by the age of 8. Because you know why? Cultural appropriation. That's why. True. Mata Ursa, the big bear colonizer, coming in on the speedboat with a sail for no reason. True. Recently, she came across another incident of gender inequality in sports at the Richmond Hill Aquatic Center's Fall Classic Swimming Competition. The organization held a championship on October 20th, in which 10 female swimmers took part. See, they posit this like it's a big like swimming championship, right? And this is her field because she was robbed. She had her future as a athlete stolen from her, right? They're putting it this way. While 9 of the swimmers were between the ages of 13 to 14, the 10th swimmer turned out to be 50-year-old biological male named Nicholas J. Cepeda, a.k.a. Melody Weishart. Disappointed by the unfair competition, the parents of the teenage swimmers tipped Rebel News. Oh, well, there you go. Which eventually reported about the incident. The publication revealed that the organizers initially denied the 50-year-old Orangeville Otters Swim Club members' participation in the championship, but later admitted them. They apparently did not want to get any age and gender debate, avoiding Weishart's topic. Move over, transgender. Trans age is the new thing. Okay, I want you to keep that in mind for just a second. Keep that in mind, because like this is a great opportunity for these fucking dipshits to be just transphobic as they want to, but they're gonna do a different thing. They're gonna do a different thing with the degeneracy and all the blah, blah, blah that they love so much. They're gonna try a different move here, which I think is insane for a couple of different reasons. Those are the dweeby little shit like Dragon Ball. I like Dragon Ball. Yu Yu Hakusho. I don't even know what that is, but I'm sure that anyone who would be watching this on Facebook right now, if they were available, I'm sure that Rain knows what that is, actually. But I don't know. And learned a bit about Japan from a little international cultural school, day school. So fuck yeah, I taught myself to eat Oriental food with chopsticks. Mixed race, the only race, if we're being honest with each other. True. What is a white person? Right. No, and there's so much to that, right? Just look at the European phrenology from the Hebrides, straight to the Caucasus, right? It's wild to me. But look at the phrenology from what is East Asia all the way to the borders of Central Asia. What is an East Asian? These are all, that's the reason these are all antiquated terms. But they're easy, they're basic, they're simple. They come from a simpler time and they're made for simpler people. That's why the simpletons of today fucking love it. That's how we end up with Nazis, right? To be honest, Hitler never read Tacitus, okay? Like, he never did. And Goebbels lied, because you know that Goebbels did read Tacitus. So, just lied, because Hitler already had the book. So why make the correction? It was going in the direction that he wanted to. Why would you want to make the correction? His first principle was just racism, not trying to be all of that math that was for him. That was just masturbatory. Otherwise it would have undermined the entirety of Nazi ideology. Okay, it turns out Matter was right. Chainsaw does in fact not read chat. I am too reading fucking chat. Raise your head high in the air. No, you aren't. You're just lovable. I'm fucking so reading chat. It's not when I'm reading this. It's hard. My forks are my fingers. That's a thing too. I've been watching a lot of I think it's South Asian cooking videos where these motherfuckers just got like plates of things and they're like, they grab this thing, they grab this shit, they just like smear this thing in, and then they like dip in a sauce and just and it just looks fucking wonderful. I don't even know. It's like they put all the spices that like that Karen would put in a fucking a dessert, and they put that shit on meat. Wonderful. Chat goes fast to Chainsaw. Chainsaw just ends up stream day now by carrier pigeon. Have some chops. I have been reading your slurs out loud. You're allowed to, since they're about you. I did. Are you getting a lag or something? Maybe it's a lag. I don't know. I'm totally reading all your slurs are the only ones that I read out loud. You think I say retard on stream for no reason? Fuck. I want to get that canceled that goddamn hard. Coming across the news, Gaines openly criticized the trans woman swimmer. She shared the Rebel News report on her X, formerly known as Twitter page, and wrote, okay, all that shit we just saw. Okay. Now we don't need to read all that. Okay, so what the fuck is this shit and why the fuck does it matter, okay? So we saw the Telegram, we saw that goofy fucking article. So let's zoom this dumb fucking shit in real quick. Before we do that, so I figured, let's just make fun of this bitch a little bit for being completely that word that Mata Ursa loves to use for people with the smooth brains and soft baby skulls, right? Get out your calipers, boys. Gonna start doing phrenology. I've never done the phrenology lines, but I tried my best. I couldn't weigh it out. I think we need someone who's better at math than me, but that's what I got here. But I figure that's as good as it's gonna get, right? I think I got the jawline pretty good. What do you guys think? And I think we did all right. Okay, so what is all this shit, and why does it even matter? Okay, remember that part that I said to keep in mind? Good, because I don't remember either. Let's see. So if we go over here and we look up, whoa, Melody Weishart. Who the fuck is this, and why does this shit matter? I'll show you how the right is using this story in this way. So what you just saw basically sounds like, I mean, to me, that sounds to me like I just read an article about a swimming competition with a bunch of teenage girls, and then this man came and whatever, right? That's the message that they want to push. You could be as not a transphobic piece of shit as you want to be, and you could read that and say, okay, there was a competition with a bunch of teenage girls, and then some trans chick who's like 50 showed up and won or something, right? Like that's all that's given to us there. But what is this? Like, why? What is this? What is this? I just realized we won't likely know when the stream ended. Yeah, sure you will. Because we'll go to this screen. That doesn't mean the stream ended, though. But when it does, that's where we'll go. But you'll probably hear me. I mean, what? You guys still do hear me, right? I mean, I guess I'll go back and watch the VOD and see how bad this was. So most of this is Madarissa's fault for utilizing Restream in this way. But the rest is the rest of this is actually Rain's fault, who isn't here in site chat. Who was like, "Oh, use this plugin. It's great." So this is Rain's fault, and this is Old Guy ADD's fault, who also told me that was a good idea, because Old Guy ADD, I guess, also uses that. So literally, you can blame them, but don't blame Old Guy ADD too hard, because he'd totally rip your fucking head off. That dude is like no shit. But we like him. Okay, so what the fuck is this exactly? What the fuck is this, and why does it matter? All right. So we look up Melody Weishart, right? Okay, author. Okay, neat. Whatever. Melody Weishart, current research on the myriad of ways in memory, consciousness, unconsciousness impacts everyday life applied. Memory research investigates the... Okay, so wrote a book? Professor Melody Weishart heads the Cognitive Flexibility Lab at the York University, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Applied memory research. Aronheim ethics in clinical practice. Okay. So that's who this person is, right? That's who it looks like this person actually is and what they actually do, right? They do stuff. Like they do smart people shit. Faculties of Health, Department of Psychology. Okay. Got a PhD in psychology and a BS in also psychology. Okay. Writes books about psychological things. Okay. So a fucking academic fucking weirdo, right? Big brained, talks about psychology, right? So we can come to one of two conclusions from all of this. Either, well, I mean, we know that Riley Gaines is a dumb transphobic piece of shit. We know that, right? I don't think that that's like a debate to be had. Dun dun dun. I have an ardent to my appropriation take. Well, chainsaw retard is a slur. I didn't even say retard ever. That's, if you think so, that you're retarded. The Wokelets get no food. I agree. Or yeah, or water, or
you
potties.
Gotta start tanning your balls, bro.
Mother Light 6. Thank you for the follow on Twitch. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. Yeah, no, no food, no water, no moto cars, not a single luxury. Those fuckers can live like, in a wooden tent. It's as primitive as can be. And I can speak from authority on this also because I used to live in a wooden tent. Times were tough in the hood, but, I won't tell you that it got better. I will tell you that I got out. But yeah, so what can we take from this? First of all, that Riley Gaines is a transphobic piece of shit and completely fucking insane and just like literally the worst kind of person ever. But also what we can take from this is one of two things. That either A, the entire fucking story is made up. The whole goddamn thing. The whole fucking thing. Because I have yet to see... And, take a look at this yourselves, okay? In your free time. Not right now. Right now, you need to like the stream VOD on YouTube. And follow me on Twitch. And follow me on Facebook. And subscribe to my YouTube channel. And make a small monetary contribution of at least $5 on the website and get a color highlighted name in chat, right? That's what you should do. But later... Take a look at this yourselves, because I've never seen I have yet to see anything on this that wasn't a right-wing source. So it could be just completely fucking made up just because they're like, oh, this transgender lady exists at all. Let's, she's a swimmer, kids, right? That could be the thing. That could very well be the thing. Because eventually you go back far enough in your ancestry, you'll find that ancestors would have had to conquer or colonize somebody else to get to where they are. True. No, absolutely. That's literally the entire history of Eurasia, right? Let's talk about the steppes. Let's talk about the Xiongnu. Let's talk about the Hephthalites, right? Boy Meets Mini could give you a significantly more, better, much more better, bigger, faster, stronger, and longer deep dive on the history of South Asia. My God. And its migratory movements of people and invasions, and things. Chainsaw believes in pseudoscience, caught in 4K. This is always, I always believe in pseudoscience. So they're not immune, right? No, they're all colonizers at some point or another. Yeah, I mean, and that's not even to consider, that's just Eurasia, right? I mean, there's a reason that, the Zulu have a similar, are Bantu speaking people and don't live anywhere near, West Central Africa. People move, they hunt, they go over other places, they, take over resources. Like, that's just a human thing. Without the internet, and trucks, that people got to eat. They got legs and shit. Like, that's just how it works. It's not great. We can do better, but it's not like anyone has. Man, you didn't read Slant-Eyed Noodle Slurper out loud? What? How many fucking times am I supposed to say it? Goddamn, yes, I did. I did just now. Get wrecked, Chainsaw. Stream's over. See you guys. Enjoyed the God tier lag. Oh, fuck. That's true. Well, the VOD will be back up, and if not, I'll cut segments out because I am also recording these. But anyway, so the other case scenario very well could be, and this is how I posit this, right? It's possible that because this person is in academia, that they just did a cringe, right? Think about it. This person works in psychology. So working in psychology, you have the academic takes on whatever, and they're talking about, I don't know if that's completely made up in the article or not, but let's say that it's not. Let's give the fascist shitbags the long end of the stick here, right? At the very least, this is a person who works in psychology, in academia, who took their academic theories and brought them into the real world in some sort of a virtue signal, perhaps. It's possible. It is possible, okay? People do weird, fucking dumb, cringe shit for no reason. It is possible. At best. And join this, I forgot this schmuck is an hour behind me, so no wonder it makes him take so long to reach out. I mean, yeah, we got, that's real. Your island has a different, the whole scope of time is, that's why you guys all live in brick, longhouses and shit, right? Actually, the architecture there from the what is it, the second industrial revolution? I personally think it's gorgeous. I know y'all probably hate it because it's very ghetto-y, but it kind of reminds me of like a bigger, fancier, nicer version of some of the places I grew up with. Because same, except they were villages and not like actual cities looking like that shit. But that's my take on that, is that this is possibly just a fucking person in academia doing really cringe shit for whatever purpose. And, you know, this is the reason that that's a bad idea, because conservatives run with that shit, which is kind of right there in line with the whole woke scoldy thing, right? Like taking something out of that world and putting it into griller space really only serves, you know, fascists. Conservatives love it. Again, the same thing with the goddamn, you know, the octopus thing. Conservatives love it. Woke scolds jump all over it. You know, tender queers talking about, you know, who can and can't have chopsticks. These are all kind of the same thing, and why, to be honest, we should push back against the cringe, right? Why pushing back against the cringe is more important than I think a lot of people are willing to admit. It does cause a lot of problems. It really does. Because then you get canceled and whatever. But the problems that are created by it, I think are significantly worse and have more real world effect. But anyway, that's just my take on that. I think that's it. I think that's all for the Wokelet. But anyway, somebody asked me what is a Wokelet. That's what a Wokelet is. Okay. Not necessarily this lady, but like someone who falls into that line of thinking with regard to gatekeeping Puritanism, that we're more willing to press on with our values than to actually or to push the values to the extreme, to lose the utility of being a progressive in favor of virtue signaling that we are a progressive, to the detriment of the progressive movement as a whole. Had to be a post-tactical screenshot to Discord to show how bad it is. Uh-oh. Let's see. Is it that bad? It's probably just Facebook. Man, I hate doing like just regular, you know, just Facebook by itself. Whoa. Damn, how big is your screen, my dude? That looks amazing. I look good. What's happening here? I dig it. Didn't even finish reading my take? Yeah, I did. What do you mean? I forgot the schmuck. I read that part too. Yes, Slant-Eyed Noodle Surfer. I read it. Yeah, I read that too, because eventually you go back far enough in your ancestry, you find that their ancestors will have had to conquer somebody else to get where they are. Yeah, no, I read that and gave commentary. Why are you so far behind? What the fuck? I gave commentary to that. Like that's its own segment, its own content. I'm gonna cut that out, put it on TikTok. You know, Mother's Most Based takes on you know, hunter-gatherer culture. God will be fine. True. All right. So that's it for all of that. Okay, we are done with that. Cool. All right. Now's the fun part, I think. We actually get to have fun on the stream, maybe. Hey. We've got 4 concurrent views on the YouTube and 8 viewers in total and 1 like, you bastards. Hey, Tiffer Bell. Good to see you, buddy. Come on over here. I ignore the fuck out of all the chats that aren't the website chat, but if you follow that link in the pinned post, there should be a help button there that'll guide you the rest of the way. But yeah, come on over here to Chainsaw CCC site chat. Good to see you, though. Holy fuck. Where am I at? Okay. Demon Mama video. Let's fucking go. Yeah, we don't need that. Oh yeah, the React video is Demon Mama, by the way. I know everybody loves Demon Mama. Just the live experience that's cursed. Yeah. Yeah. It's a work in progress. Here's the thing. I've got another, I've got another desktop that I could set up for that, but I don't know that I want to, right? Like I would have to set it up, and then I would have to like buy a keyboard. Because the other one, well, I guess maybe I could just use the other one. It's just missing a Z. Like the Z button, there's a stapler underneath of it from back in the old Office days, and it like just never came out. And so like the left shift button doesn't work. And I think the other mouse is kind of wonky or some shit. But I guess I could hook up. I would need another TV. Well, I could use the Hans G. I could hook up the Hans G to it, and then I could stream, just like record the YouTube VOD, and then stream that to Facebook and like set it up over there as some shit on that other desk. It used to be Angie's desk. Back when it used to be Angie. But I guess I could do that. But like I say, Rain and old guy ADD were telling me this is the way, and I tried it before and it was kind of wild. So we'll see. Look at that cute beardo guy. What? I like you too, Vinny. Now with the fascist dick badge, true. All right, so let's see. How do we get this to? All right, so there's that. Go into the video watch. Demon Mama. Demon Mama. All right. You guys let me know, is that big enough? Because we can make it bigger if you all need a bigger screen. Big screen. All right. Put it over there. Put it over here. We'll put it over here. This will be fine. All right. I've been wanting to react to this video for a while. So this is Demon Mama. Talking about Demon Mama stuff. No spoilers. We'll just check it out. And I'm going to play some Empire Total War. Let's fucking go. Let's get that Demon Mama ad. Damn it.
Star Trek tells us that there will be a future.
True.
It gives us comfort.
Shout out to Gayfesh on that soundtrack, though. The fuck is this? Hello, sorry to bother you. I am totally getting the fucking block. Oh no, don't worry. Not bothering me, buddy. Thanks for coming over. Appreciate the follow. You fucking love it. First time chatter. All right, cool. Anyway, shout out to Gayfesh for the OST.
My lovely, lovely imps. Tonight, I want to talk with you about non-binary people. There has been a lot of discourse about non-binary people in recent months. No specific incident is this in reaction to. I've just seen a lot of conversations about non-binary people, and in the general social milieu on the broad, and I say this very broadly, the broad sphere of politics that is the left. And I felt like it would be valuable for me to put a bunch of my thoughts about the term non-binary, about non-binary politics in one place for you. I
think I did actually see this on stream whenever it first happened. But it's really good.
My audience has a lot of non-binary people in it. I, myself, am non-binary.
It's going to be a really good video to explain to people what a wokelet is.
Non-binary
All the
itself
slurs and
is a
spicy
fairly
takes and
simple
shit.
term. It basically just
true.
means somebody whose identity falls outside of that which is generally considered to be the gender or sex binary. It's a very broad term, and it's a fairly simple term, but it's become loaded with all kinds of different assumptions that I think are very not helpful. I'll put it that way. Over time. And I wanted to first off open this segment by talking about what being non-binary means for me. Because a lot of people will notice that I use she, her pronouns, and that I consider myself a non-binary trans woman. And some people...
I've unironically had to explain this to some normies who, griller folks who have relatives, family members who are trans and who are like, hey, bro, how does this shit work again? 6-minute delay? No fucking way. That's Tiffer Bell's fault. Tiffer Bell and Rain. I'm blaming them. It's literally you guys' fault. Because unlike a lot of lefties, I actually think through my positions. You only read the first part out loud. I saw the commentary. Holy shit, really? That's really late, my guy. It's 7:19 here. Well, right here. We operate in Eastern time zone over here. That's New York time. That's the real time, by the way. Universal. See, I'll always follow up with one of my takes with the rationality behind it. Okay. Okay, Mata Ursa, give it to me. I'll do this for you. Shoot me the take, and then shoot me the rationality. We'll do this for you. I'll hang out. No, because I'm curious. I thought I was reading all of them, and to be honest, I might not have been. But I thought I was. I thought I was doing a pretty good job. Because unlike a lot of lefties, I think that my position. Okay. A wokelet. Okay, so you could say woke scold, and a lot of people get up in their fifis about that, because I think it was Ben Shapiro who fucking coined that phrase. And whatever, people get all fucking freaked out about that. I'm actually starting to notice that the most people who get really freaked out about the phrase woke scold are the same people who get freaked out about the word tanky, because they themselves are fucking tankies, right? It kind of reminds me of back when it was popular in liberal spaces to say that TERF is a slur, and liberals would be like, that's misogynistic because what they're saying is in reality. And it's like, no, these dumb bitches are actually cringe, and they do totally exist. I don't remember who it was the other day had tweeted something out that grabbed my attention, something along the lines of, it may actually be more problematic to refer to all transphobic women as TERFs. And honestly, I thought that was pretty wonderful. Because I've struggled with whether or not it's a good idea to refer to TERFs as TERFs, because most of them are NB-phobic, or conflate rhetoric that is in and of itself NB-phobic. You just got a compliment from my company on your voice. Thank you. I got a lot of compliments whenever I joined Rand's panel a few days ago. That was kind of cool. People like the voice. I don't know what it is. Just keep being old. True. No, this is Giga Chad streams only, Vinny. Big dicks in chat over here. Giga Chads only. But yeah, what the fuck was I saying? Because I've struggled with that myself, like whether or not it's and ironically, we're watching this Demon Mom video where she's explaining about non-binary people, right? I've actually struggled with that myself, whether or not it's appropriate to refer to to TERFs as TERFs because of their, NB-phobia. If that's a proper way of describing that, or if it should be, or whatever. And I don't know. I've since more come to terms with the idea of calling out, TERFs and radfems just on their NB-phobia in and of itself, and that I think it's easier to identify that whenever someone refers to themselves as a TERF, to be able to cast doubt on their positions when it comes to with regard to non-binary people or trans men especially. You can see this a lot in online spaces with regard to radical feminists, authors or tweeters, content creators, podcasters. Look at their mentions regarding trans men. In that, trans men who pass are predatory, but trans men who don't pass may or may not be predatory simply because of their inherent masculinity, and therefore toxic masculinity. They say, I want to know. I kind of want to know too, Vinny. But yeah, no, that's actually a really interesting point there. So with that regard, I just started saying Wokelet, right? And again, well, Vinny, you saw the whole tender queer thing, right? Where somebody asked me, they're like, "Isn't that when I had mentioned Keffels?" And they're like, "Isn't that the lady who made the word tender queer thing?" Because people get offended by that too. They think that's a homophobic slur in some type of way. Wherein, unironically, most of the misandry and the NB-phobia that comes from those radfem circles was unironically inspired by lesbian separatism or political lesbianism or whatever. Which is also ironically an example of tender queerness, I guess, if you will, because the idea that folks who were, looking to separate themselves by essentializing gender in and of itself and using their queerness as the catalyst to be essentialist, and this was all again started in a time before. Being trans and transness in general was accepted in the mainstream. Queerness was barely accepted in the mainstream at that time. So it's not necessarily out of the ballpark. But I mean, you saw people freak the fuck out. People freak the fuck out when you say woke scold, because again, the conservatives say it. People freak the fuck out when you say tenderqueer because they're dipshits and they think everything that they don't know about must be homophobic in some type of way. So I just started saying wokelets because everyone is that word that Mata Ursa likes to say a lot in chat. A bunch of smooth brain, baby skull, fucking having soft tissue fucking, motherfuckers. I figure the word wokelet is pretty fair. It's pretty, neutral. And it still signifies the meaning without, wokelet is the woke scold way of saying woke scold. Okay. I'm woke scolding myself. Okay. It's the way to not piss off all the tenderqueers who are just fucking insane. It's a way to not piss off all the woke scolds who are just fucking insane, and hoping to God that liberals will catch that, and be able to take it for the value that it is. Again, like in this case, we saw Jess Piper's like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Like, don't you understand like fascism bad? Like it either is bad or it isn't bad. Like, why? We had previously been seeing a lot of, tankies, bullying folks that otherwise had no idea what the fuck a tanky was, online, liberals. So it's a way to normalize that for them. I fall in the camp of I don't care on this one, but should just respect them for being people. I mean, true. Well, it's like I say, it's a thing that's very prevalent in feminist circles, and radical feminism online has been more normalized in the mainstream over the last decade. And now we're starting to see a lot of the problems with that, with the advent of incel culture and now femcel culture, So we're seeing a lot of the incel fuel that's coming from those spaces that doesn't necessarily do anything to promote the egalitarianism that feminism is supposed to be promoting, and just acts as a catalyst to create misogyny online. At least that's all I've literally ever seen about it. Or people should just be furries. Man, I can't agree with that more. A week of being a furry and you'll understand non-binary, all kinds of other stuff in no time. Yeah. Honestly, so somebody in Demon Mama's community who used to come here to chat was actually the one who explained to me, because I had no idea what neos and xenos were. Neo pronouns, xenogenders. I had no idea. And they took the fucking time to explain that shit to me like I was 5. And it just, something just clicked in my head. I was like, okay, so if I can accept that rad femmes are insane, and that non-binary people are valid, and that non-binary people being valid sort of validates the concepts of gender abolition. And I guess a lot of gender abolitionists do not, I guess it's more common and more popular, not necessarily in all, but I guess there has been discourse at some time, I don't know, it's before my time, of gender abolitionists who were anti, neo pronouns, and, because of the whole thing. I'm like, this to me, neo pronouns and xenogenders to me are like more, they validate gender abolition even more so. Just the entirety of the open-ended non-binary spectrum, I guess. I don't even know what the fuck you would call that if it's open-ended, but the non-binary people, because gender fluid and that, right? That the existence of that as a gender type, to me, it just blasts more holes in the concept of a gender binary, right? And it blasts more holes into heteronormativity, and actually, to me, seems to prop up the concept of gender abolition. At least from my understanding. I don't know how anyone, it seems to me like anything else is just a new form of essentialization, which again, this is a nuanced stream, folks, so we don't do that, but it just seems to as a continuation of the validity of gender abolition, or Demon Mama I think refers to it as gender ascension, which I like very much. It sounds very sexy. It sounds very cool. It's like, okay, we've gone beyond the concept of a heteronormativity, right? I give you the take again, but it'll be 6 minutes late. That's what I was asking for. You're off by 9 minutes for me, but you already read the rationale behind it about 6 minutes ago. This is why my chat needs timestamps. Big Chad. Probably am at times, but when I hear talk about it, it reminds me of when people were talking about mixed race kids. Isn't a phobia a mental disorder, though? I feel like this is more intellectual dishonesty. I mean, sort of. Okay, so the way that people use these concepts in this way is, so I've seen a lot of this discourse, honestly, from a lot of Zoomers who are like, take the shit literally, right? So good to get lumped in with that, right? But no, this is actually a real thing that I have seen a lot of discourse on, and it mostly has come from Zoomers. I've actually seen a few millennials who are confused about this too. So, and I didn't know myself, so I did Google it and whatever. So I've heard people talk about the situation in the Levant, and they're like, well, wait a minute, aren't all of the people in the Levant that like are non-Persian or non-whatever, like Arabs, Syrians, Israelis, Jews, aren't all of these people Semitic? So like, why do they call it anti-Semitism and da-da-da? Well, yeah, all of these people are Semitic, but the phrase anti-Semitism, its etymology comes from, I think it's anti-Semitish or whatever. But it comes from the etymology comes from a previously used word in the 19th century in Germany called Judenhass, and you can kind of guess what that actually means, right? Literally, they just replaced the word Jew hate for anti-Semitism to not, to woke school themselves, basically. But, it's a much nicer word anyway, for a horrible thing. But despite the fact that other, Semitic peoples are also Semitic, blah, 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 you weren't talking to people, anyone on Twitter aren't people. Throwing away their humanity along with their higher functionality. True. But I feel like it's along those lines. Yes, the phobia is a fear of something or whatever, and I don't think that J.K. Rowling is actually afraid of trans people or trans women as much as she says that she is. She's just literally a bigot. And that's just the etymology of why they would use the phrasing. Because what else would you say? A genderist? I don't know. But yeah. Anyway, so that's. I get your meaning, but I think it kind of falls in those lines. And that's how I would consider it. But it's not really something I've Googled. Might be worth a Google. Might not be. But anyway.
People don't understand what that means and why I would consider that sort of thing. And I'm going to explain that right now. So this is going to start fairly personal, and then it's going to expand
people on Twitter aren't
and
people,
hopefully
though. That's true.
The personal will help the political make sense. When I first started my transition, all that I really cared about was being considered a woman. I wanted to have hormones. I had a lot of body dysphoria. Most people in my audience are going to be familiar with the concept of dysphoria, but dysphoria is basically when your body and the way that your body is gives you an incredible amount of mental anguish and agony. I have had dysphoria about my body for as long as I can remember. From even when I was a child, I was confused as to why my body wasn't like that of girls that I knew, of female family members that I knew. And it got worse as I got older. And it culminated with the strongest severity hitting when I started learning about puberty, and I realized that I was not going to go through a female puberty, and instead that I was going to go through a male puberty because I was born male and assigned male at birth. At that time, it started to become very painful for me, to the degree that I was religious at the time. I would regularly pray to God that I would instead get to have a female puberty. This sort of stuck with me for my entire life. This dysphoria was fairly disruptive. It's something.
Like for real though, furries already sorted through and settled all this trans MB intersex discourse long ago. Shots pretty much have been settled for decades now. Shit's been settled for decades now. Very curious.
Something that was with me all the way through high school, and I grew up in an incredibly conservative Christian environment.
Well, that does make sense, though.
No access to information about trans people.
From what I can tell, it does seem like there has to be like an incredible amount of acceptance and sort of inner community policing for furries. Now that you mention it, I guess it's not something I've really considered. I mean, I'm like obviously I'm furry friendly. I know several people who are furries, but like with regard to furries, like I'm not a furry. I just know people who are, and I see the things that they post. It is for personas and things. I think it's pretty neat. But like, I guess that's not really something that I've considered before. That in order for a community like that to exist online and to feel like any sort of sense of self as a community, it would have to have quite a bit of intercommunal policing with regard to ethics, behavior, presentation. So that's actually something I've never really considered. But that's really interesting. Well, people are valid, even the ones that are. I don't know. Valid as people, sure. But a lot, there's some people who should just probably, log off and shit, not go outside. They should relay phone someone to go outside and cross section the grass, bring it in and spoon feed them so that they can eat the grass. Valid as people, sure. I'm too smooth brained for that being neo and xenoprotons. I'm still trying to get with new terms. It's an interesting one. To be honest, I don't know that I would have completely gotten it if the person hadn't explained it to me like I was 5, though. I think they did a really, really good job of that because I had so many fucking questions. And the person was an artist too, so they explained it to me in a way that sort of gave I guess more of the expression itself of neopronouns, I think, was the thing that really grabbed my attention. Because okay, so when you're looking at gender in a heteronormative binary anyway, right? You're not looking at it as a spectrum. It's just two solid positions that are opposing each other. And when you consider the idea that gender could be a spectrum, like that like changes the way that you feel about those two fixed positions themselves. But then you consider that non-binary people can exist within or without that gender spectrum anyway. That creates a new dynamic, right? So we're looking at it from 2D to 3D now, potentially, right? Sort of. I guess it's still 2D, but in a not so, it actually becomes 2D at that point because it's no longer along a plane, right? Now it's an X and Y axis, right? With the idea that non-binary people can exist within that one-dimensional plane or outside of the gender spectrum in a 2D plane, right? But then you consider neopronouns and xenogenders to be an open-ended spectrum in and of itself, of expression of non-binariness, right? Because technically they're still non-binary. It's just it's an open-ended position in the, I think, I guess you could also be somewhere within the gender spectrum also, but let's just say for the sake of fucking argument, right? So outside of the gender spectrum, an open-ended position that shoots off into fucking space, right? So now we've got a 3D model of gender, right? You've got the, masc feminine, camera. You've got the masc feminine 1D plane, right? Non-binary people, gender fluid people can exist somewhere in that 1D plane, right? Non-binary people can also exist somewhere outside of that. So now we're 2D, right? Xenogenders can exist in a third dimensional, open-ended position, fucking somewhere. They could be over there. They could be over there. They could even be in here. But that's the thing. It's that's the point of being open-ended, is that it can, the expression of their gender can be an expression of literally of anything that they would express as wholeheartedly as you or I would express our genders, right? That's the point, is that in the exact same way that we would express our genders, that's how they're expressing themselves with a gender identity. And it literally is fucking wherever they are comfortable with expressing themselves. I'm sure you've heard non-binary people be like, I didn't feel like a girl. I didn't feel like a boy. I just felt like me. Okay. Now imagine if that person was they didn't use the word me. They used a different word. Whatever that word is, whatever that thing is that makes them feel like, their way of showing themselves to the world, because it's all objective. It's all objective. It's all subjective on themselves, but it's also subjective on how they show themselves to society too, right? Gender doesn't matter, but to the person that is expressing it and how they express that to you. Like, it shouldn't matter to us as individuals or whatever, but that's why I don't get with gender abolitionists who are like, I think this shit is cringe. We should not have any genders and all just be, NB test tube babies. And while I agree that that's cool, it's actually perfectly fine to also accept people for what they do, right? Opinion changes to Chud types. That's when you know it's time time to off me. 42-year-old Zoomer. Yeah, it's older millennials, you babies. I have to disagree with bad people once they've hit a certain point are no longer worthy of humanity. It's the neoliberal brainwashing yours and my generations went through that says no matter how bad a person is, they're still redeemable, worthy of respect. Gender binary is fine, but it's only as an LCD thing, so you can test meds and wake up. Well, that wouldn't necessarily be a gender so much as that would be, your biological sex or whatever, and that also is subject to change to change, to differ. Well, I guess in the case of HRT, it actually literally can change, or in the case of other cosmetic options, that also could change as well. I mean, that's the thing though. When you consider HRT and its effects on the body, if a person is taking HRT, and then you consider cosmetic options, those also will have an effect on the body as well, and so that will change those. If you're talking about say, like, do trans dudes need prostate, or do trans women need prostate exams? Yeah, but that don't do it. Wonderful. That's less gender though, and that's more, that's. Oh God. Oh, that was the real one. Okay. All right. Okay. This is why we keep this right here, just in case. But yeah, that's not so much a gender though. Gender is literally the expression of your gender itself. That's a medical thing based on your I guess your biological sex or whatever, right? I mean, because the whole idea, and this was actually brought to my attention by a young couple, right? A young couple that I didn't know, okay? Because the guy, nothing wrong with him. You are my ex. This is Chainsaw. Thank you. Nothing wrong with the guy. I thought he was cool. I still think he's cool. It just, he hung around with some really chuddy fucking friends and shit. And, I didn't know. I was curious. So a mutual who's, non-binary, right? We both also had another mutual, who had some really chuddy friends that were very much, the alt-right types. And this guy started dating, an NB. And we both kind of wondered, is he like does he know, or is he just like playing along, right? And I mean, fucking turned out like I guess he wasn't playing along. Like, it's a real, or even if he was playing along at first, like, obviously he kind of figured things out since then, and they're still together, and it's like perfectly fine, and things are cool, and but I didn't know. Like, I actually had like legit concerns, because I'm like, man, I don't know, this motherfucker got some weird ass friends and shit, and like, you hang out with some fucking dipshits. Like, I had to block a few of these fucking, maniacs, because they're literally the alt-right, Ted Von Newcomb types, right? Like, I could see them hanging out with Ted Von Newcomb and being like, oh yeah, let's, we should be in a rock band, buddy. Like, kind of guys. So, I had no idea, but like, turns out it was perfectly fine, and they're still together, and things worked out really well, So like, good for them. But like I say, I had no idea. I think the best way to consider that is that, you know, it's not so much, you know, playing along. It's like looking at trans people like they're valid is, you know, it's more of just considering it. And this is my perspective, because I don't give a fuck about gender, to be honest. Is that because I don't give a fuck about gender, to be honest, it's actually really easy for me to separate sex and gender. And maybe that's unique to my position. Maybe other folks struggle with it harder, separating sex and gender because they, you know, they're not quite with the, you know, gender abolition train yet. You know, and that's fine. But at least for me, it's easy to just look at these two things and be like, okay, well, this is this, this is that. You know, trans dudes have babies, maybe. NBA fabs have babies, maybe, or don't, or whatever. Who cares? But if they do, you know, they need the medical care and treatment that they would need. You know, and that should otherwise be available. That's a whole other political fucking statement in and of itself. And you know, like, but like to equate those things as, you know, per the gender, like that's like, I don't know that that's necessarily, necessary, you know? And like I say, that might just be, you know, coming into it. I know, you know, and I'm not picking on you at all, Will Raw. I know a lot of people who, and I'm not picking on you by saying this either, but I know a lot of fucking grillers. Okay. I live in a fucking red state. So like everybody's a fucking griller. That's just the reality of the situation. Sometimes I surprise myself. I actually had a conversation earlier today, with somebody who we were talking about puberty blockers, and they were like, man, do people know about this shit? Do people know how this shit works? I'm like, yeah, this is fucking political discourse. Of course people fucking know about this shit. They're voting literally on only this shit. Republicans have only been running on just this shit for so fucking long. And they're like, so what does it do? Like, what happens if they, you know, and I try to explain to this person, I'm like, you know, here's the thing. Like, if you stop taking fucking puberty blockers, like puberty blockers, all they do is they inhibit puberty. They just prevent it for a minute. It's just like putting a, you know, it's like brakes on the bike. Like, go to brakes, the bike goes, right? It doesn't do anything else. Like, all it does is just be like, oh, okay. And if you stop taking them, then you have a normal puberty or whatever. And they were like, well, how long does that take? You know? And I'm like, you know, I'm curious. So, you know, looked it up. Oh, sometimes it takes a few weeks. Sometimes it takes a few days. And then you start to see signs that, like, normal. Well, you know, I actually, to be honest, nobody's ever asked me that. It's not something that I've ever Googled before. It's not something I gave a shit about, to be honest. You know, as far as the proximity from when you stop taking puberty blockers, how long does it take to, you know, because there's, you know, 1,000 miles of fucking research that talks about, you know, how these motherfucking things are basically fucking harmless. And the most extreme cases that they may cause some, you know, other further issues or could inhibit your puberty, blah, blah, blah. But it's like very fringe cases, you know. But that is actually something I never considered, was like, okay, well, how long does it take? And it turns out the shit is like fucking magic. You stop taking it, the next day you fucking have a, you know, which is the problem, because they're trying to stop, you know, trans people from getting, you know, these kind of services. And if you fucking don't do it for like a day, it like fucking ruins your life and whatever. You know, but normal people don't, necessarily, grillers don't necessarily know about that shit. And if you're new, to a lot of these ideas, I get, you know, people who are, you know, anywhere near my age. I'm close to 155 right now. I'm just kidding. I'm like 500. But, you know, some of these concepts and some of these ideas may be a little bit new to you. This isn't necessarily stuff you may have, you know, come across, you know, one or two trans people in your entire fucking life in the last, like, you know, decade or so. But now that it's become more mainstream, mostly because of the push against trans people, to be quite honest, because everybody else in the world has met one trans person that their fucking, you know, their kid sister fucking hung out with and was like, you know, hey, we should fucking, you know, go on vacation or whatever. And they just freak the fuck out because, you know, chicks with dicks and they lost their fucking marbles or whatever. So then they decided to run for office and make it everyone's fucking problem, right? But because of that and whatever, it's, you know, it is more for the discourse. And obviously we have more people having more of an opportunity to learn about, you know, a lot of this stuff. And of course, coming to a stream, you know, it's kind of par for the course. And in this case, we're literally watching a trans person talk about trans issues. But yeah, no, I don't, I don't blame anybody for being more new to a lot of this stuff. You know, I think that's fucking cringe and woke scoldy to just assume that, like, if you don't know anything about trans people, you're a fucking terrible person. You know, some fucking people just fucking, you know, it's like not a thing. They're more worried about teeth or something. You know, everybody has their own fucking priorities, you know. Like, I guess I feel like it's my job as a streamer to bring that more to the people. I mean, that's literally why we're watching a video by Demon Mama about non-binary people, is because you guys could listen to me fucking all day long talk about non-binary people and xenogenders and neogenders and, you know, gender abolition and blah, blah, blah. And, like, you know, you might get it then, you might get it the next 15 times I say it or whatever, but, like, you know, it's just about maybe hearing it from Demon Mama. She might say something a little bit different that may click a little bit better for you. Or maybe something she says might click for me and I'll be like, oh, well, you know, hey, here's something I hadn't actually considered that, you know, furthers my position or makes me think a little bit differently about a position that I'd previously held, you know, with that regard, blah, blah, blah. You know, because I don't know that there's too much, there's a lot of overlap between how Demon Mama feels about gender and gender identities, and honestly the way that I feel about it. Which is why I found her community delightful in the first place. You know, this has been said to her, but I don't know if I've said this to you guys. Demon Mama is actually the reason I know what the fucking word woke scold is, because I didn't know what the fuck to call these dipshits. I had no idea. I just knew that they were all fucked up and insane. You know, but it was on a Demon Mama stream where she started mentioning this, and I was like, that's the guys. That's the guys. That's the ones. What do you call it again? You know. Oh no, you have a gold week and a half. That is all bad. Genders have always been on a spectrum, though. Yeah. I mean, I'm saying from a heteronormative, you know, perspective, though. You know, people who only see masc and femme, and I mean, I guess grillers don't even realize that they see more than that anyway. When we talk about, you know, you wouldn't have the phrase, "Oh, you know, it's you know, be a man," if they didn't consider themselves less than the epitome of the Giga Chadness in their eyes, right? Whatever the fuck that means. True, there is not enough cold medicine. All the neighbors done fucked that up for us. Okay, last you should put in from mother's lips. Throw it in the Discord. Now, here's the thing: any comments or any, literally anything you post in that channel, I'm putting on the website. So no worries there. If you throw it there, I'll just quote it directly. Good hole can change a man's life. True.
The books that I was given to learn about stuff did not contain information about transgender people. It did not contain information about gender non-conforming individuals. I was always taught there is man and there is woman, and you are one or you are the other. And I was always taught that man and woman are biological categories. That man and woman, the gender.
Griller is a fucking normal person who likes to grill on weekends. They go to work all day. They fucking take their kids. Well, they wake up in the morning. They fucking yell at their fucking kids to get their fucking clothes on and shit, and wake them up and fucking get them ready for school. And then they take them to school. They take the baby to the babysitter, and then they go to fucking work all day. And they fucking basically want to blow their own fucking brains out all goddamn day long. But then they decide that they don't want to, because in fact they love the idea that they have a family and a dog and a fucking backyard and shit. And then whenever they get home, or well, whenever they get off the work, then they go pick up their kids and they go to take their other kids to soccer practice and shit. And then they go pick those kids up. They go to the babysitters. They pick up the baby. They take them home. They feed the dog. They feed the kids. Well, before they feed the kids, they go outside and they grill, right? They cook hot dogs and burgers and chicken with no spices, and then and then they have dinner, and then they have no sex, very little sex, and then grillers are a common subspecies of boomers. Younger ones do it too. Millennials, man, it's a weird generation, you know. For sure. Gen Xers very much griller lifestyle these days. It literally just means normal people, though, you know, like whatever that is. Not us, Vinny. We are not grillers. I got a grill. I think I used it once. That was a lot of fun. I had a good time. I gotta buy another grill. That thing is so fucking rusty. But you can support the show and support the purchasing of Chainsaw's next grill by going to chainsawccc.com and subscribing, and you get a cool chat highlight like Mod Ursa and Warlord, except yours will be a different color because they're mods.
Is the same thing as sex. So when I finally got on my own and learned about trans people, I was very concerned mostly with transitioning to female, with transitioning to be a woman, to live my life as a woman, to be identified with she, her pronouns, to take hormones that would shape my body in the feminine manner. And that was mostly my focus. And there was a whole lot that went on. I'm not going to go super deep into my experience with transition here. I've done it before, and I'll certainly do it again. It was a complicated experience. And once, I went through a lot of stuff. I pursued surgery. I was able to get access to hormones. I changed my name legally. I changed my gender legally. And then when I got to the other side of it, of all of that stuff, and I had some time to sit
Alex.
down and
Sorry,
think about my life and think about how I felt about the concept of gender, I realized that I don't think I believe that there is a single definition of woman, and that I don't believe that there is a single definition of female.
I don't believe in gender abolition per se. I think gender is fake, but yeah, I respect whatever people want. That's very similar to my take on gender abolition, actually. In that regard, is that it's gender is fucking whatever, it's stupid. But like if that's what people want to do, and obviously they express themselves socially in some type of way, then fucking that's cool. Like, I'm catsophobic as fuck. I don't hate you if you enjoy catsup, but like, I don't want to sit in a car with you while you're eating it, and like 20 minutes after you're done eating it, I will totally sit in the car with you. Like, it's fine. It's not my thing. And like, I don't want to like watch that. Definitely do not want to fucking smell that shit. Oh my God. But like, 15, 20 minutes after you're done eating it, you maybe have a breath mint, drink a little bit of milkshake, like, it's fine. Perfectly fine. Like, it doesn't make me mad that people enjoy, I mean, it does make me mad that people enjoy catsup, but like, it's not like my mission to be like, to ruin tomatoes for everyone, but like, it's not for me, Also, like, it says kids puberty blockers when they have early onset puberty. Right. Chainsaw, you motherfuckers are goddamn character limit in chat. I don't even know. Like, if there is, it's not my fault. Wait a minute, there's a character limit in all the chats. Mine probably has like the longest. You yellow rice picking some bitch. True. Rice picking though? Do we do that? I guess so. I guess we do that. No, you're right.
Because I don't think that's ever been the case. That it is not accurate to say that there is only one single definition of this. And that was when I realized that while I identify strongly with a very nebulous and vague concept of womanhood and a vague and nebulous concept of femininity, that what I am and who I am and how I am identified and how I engage with the world is beyond just that. And I believe this is true for everyone, even the most binary woman or binary man that you can imagine. I believe that in truth, the way they engage with the world is greater than the binary that they've been placed on by society. And that was when I realized that actually I don't want to be bound by the binary. I want to be able to play with gender however I see fit. And that is why I call myself a non-binary trans woman, because while I have a lot of affinity for femininity, as you can probably tell, the painted nails, the jewelry, the fancy outfits. Although today I'm just wearing a kind of stylish t-shirt, but I have a lot of strong affinity for this very nebulous concept of femininity. But I don't believe there's only one true form of femininity or one true form of womanhood. And I want to reject that explicitly in my own life and in my politics, which led me to conclude that I am indeed non-binary. I do not bind myself, even if I draw a ton of inspiration from femininity, even if I love my she, her pronouns, and I think that is a very accurate way to refer to me, that I don't believe that I'm limited by that. And I think that also shows in the way that I go about things and the way that I talk about things. So I hope that that all kind of makes sense to you.
When I first heard Demon Mama say that, like it struck me for like a second, and it literally took me like a second to catch that, right? I was like, wait, oh, yeah, like, I mean, even if you want to go as complex as possible, it's like, as a non-binary person, that is kind of wild though. Like, because you could go fucking way deeper than you need to on that and be like, as a non-binary person, woman, gender, right? I mean, you don't need to go that far, but like, just the idea that you could, I don't know. I thought it was cool. Whatever. Fuck you guys.
You now understand my, sort of path that I took to coming to this understanding. You
know what I mean? I thought it was neat.
Hey, thank you so much, President Sunday. I really appreciate that. The concept of non-binary is fairly well understood, at least on the left side of the world. I will say that on the right, they don't know anything about gender. They literally think that they don't actually have any coherent definition of gender either. That's something that I should say. People might hear me talking about gender and say, well, you say there's no single one definition of woman. Well, I guess you can't answer the question, what is a woman? Well, of course I can. It's fairly easy for me to answer the question of what is a woman. A woman is any person who desires to be a woman and identifies with that structure. You self-select. It is an identity group. Being a woman is about accepting that role onto yourself and saying, yes, I am a woman. But as for what a woman physically looks like, how that shakes out into the world, that is going to vary completely. You have women who are athletes. You have women who are girl bosses. You have women in the world who are anime nerds and never leave the house. You have women who are princesses. You have women who are
glorified British driver release read all the way up.
There are all kinds. There are so many different kinds of women. It is impossible to capture all types of women in a single definition, other than the fact that women choose to be women. Women say, I am a woman. This is the structure that I want to identify with. Now, maybe someday there won't be any more utility left to using the term.
Okay, I did actually miss that one in Vinny's chats here. They're never spotted far from their nest, where they prepare food for their larvae, cooking it over an open. Okay, I see why you're mad. That's good. Okay, so on grillers, they're never spotted far from their nests, where they prepare their food for their larvae by cooking it over an open flame, guzzling beer, and complaining about ethnic minorities moving into their neighborhood. God damn! That's so real. Wow. Yeah, no. Very true.
Woman or man, and those terms might not even exist anymore. Is the types of women in a single definition, other than the fact that women choose to be women. Women say, I am a woman. This is the structure that I want to identify with. Now, maybe someday there won't be any more utility left to using the term woman or man, and those terms might not even exist anymore. There might just be people who do the stuff that we used to associate with women, and I would be totally fine with that. But for now, we have this concept of womanhood, and it's a very big concept. There are old women, young women, women with tall women, short women, women with short hair, women with long hair, aggressive women, passive women, intellectual women, bimbos. There is all types of women out there in the world, okay? Same thing goes for men. All of this applies to men as well.
Any bimbo enjoyers in the chat?
And the only thing that binds them all together is that they put on the mantle of that identity. Shit. That is the only thing that binds them all together. Now, on the conservative side of the world, if you ask people what is a man and what is a woman, you will get a bunch of different answers. And all of them will be incredibly stringent and often very...
So like I actually, I tried with oats once, not like a still, but I did. So, okay. So a lot of people don't know this. The only real difference, between like a beer or, any sort of, a distilled, alcohol is that you are able to first basically create something that is akin to wine. Okay, so like real quick. So mead was the first alcoholic beverage ever brewed. It was the concept of taking a what's the phrase? It's it's basically something for the yeast to eat. There's a word for it. I can't remember. It's been a while. But you take that and catalyst. You have to have some sort of a nutrient catalyst, and then honey is the sugar, which allows for the reproduction, right? So it has to eat, and then it has to have sugar in order to reproduce. And as it reproduces, it creates the alcohol as a byproduct and a waste product from the sugar and the food, the catalyst, and then also it will create carbon dioxide in the process. And basically, it's just thriving as a colony in and around your mash, right? Not your mash, but your must. The mash is something that you would use for distilling a different whatever, but it's the same thing. Mash and must is the same thing, right? So basically what you would do is you would take that and you would create your mead, right? So winemaking is exactly the same thing, except you're using a different catalyst for that. So instead of honey, you would use grapes and da-da-da, right? And they actually eat the grapes and make the wine out of the grape juice and shit, right? Literally. So that's the catalyst. But you can take your wine whenever you remove the must, or whenever you remove the wine from the must through the filtration process, you can take that actual wine that's been made and you can further still that down. But basically what you've done is the exact same process in beer making, or like making a sugar mash for vodka or whatever. If you're making Everclear, it really doesn't matter. Honestly, though, the whole thing of like fine wines and blah, 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 like none of that shit actually matters. I could make a fucking wine out of a goddamn steak. Okay. None of that shit really matters. You need a catalyst for your yeast to eat, and you need the yeast, and that catalyst also has to contain a significant amount of sugar. Otherwise your yeast is going to die and you're going to end up all fucked up. But it takes that in time and a nice, clean, sanitary environment. That way you only end up with a yeast colony and not something that'll fucking kill you. Right. But I have never actually distilled before, but I do know the process. It's pretty fucking simple. Alcohol burns at alcohol will evaporate at 120 degrees Fahrenheit. So you have to separate that from everything else. And whenever you do, since you can't really regulate the temperature too much, you may end up with the first. So there's another word for it, but it's basically the stuff that'll make you blind and whatever. But honestly, you would have to drink so much of that in order for it to fuck you up. They do have a thing that's called a freeze distillation, where you can take a wine, you can freeze that shit down, and then you just remove what's left, which is still distilled alcohol, from the frozen part, which will be your water and whatever, which is the same thing as distillation, but just with freezing, right? But in that process, you can't actually remove the first from the rest of from the distilled alcohol. So you drink it. They call that a jack, right? You might have heard of Applejack, right? It's a big thing. The problem is, though, that the drinking that does include the first, which will give you a massive headache. You won't go blind. Like, you would have to drink a fucking gallon of this shit to go blind. You know, the whole, oh, if you make vodka wrong, and that's part of why they have the, you know, regulations and the licensing and shit. But that's all based on fucking, you know, just insanity. It's just basically a way for them to corporatize the licensing of distillation of alcoholic products. And it's a mark of prohibition, which goes back to some of the problems with first wave feminism, right? But seriously though, like you'll get a massive fucking hangover from drinking the first, of course. But for it to actually be dangerous, you would literally have to drink a gallon of that shit. I promise you, that's never going to fucking happen. But yeah, I've never actually done distillation myself. Are there any sluts for people from Missouri? No. I mean, yes and no. It depends. I'm not going any further on. I could so get canceled right now. I got nothing but bad jokes. Oh. I almost fell for that. I can't believe it. Must be getting old.
What is a man and what is a woman?
Yeah, you must have got a huge chat delay. You gotta fix because I posted that rickshaw dig about 12 minutes ago. Damn.
And often very defensive.
To be fair, I didn't actually see that one immediately. Well, I didn't see the other one immediately. I was actually considering on possibly making the chat slightly larger. Perhaps font 8 is too small. I don't know. Because whenever we started, I think we were at font 10 or 12. But now we're at font 8. So we could make the chat slightly larger. If I had glasses, it would be a whole lot easier. I promise you.
About it. Sometimes you will get a man is somebody with a penis and a woman is someone with a vagina.
Yeah.
Sometimes you will get, a woman is passive. They're the feminine side of God. Women to serve and to nurture. Men are aggressive and dominant. And all that. That's another thing you might get. You might get some types of right wingers might say, a woman has XX chromosomes and a man has XY chromosomes. And all of them will smugly believe that all other people of their side of the world believe the same thing, but none of those are actually universally held. And I've done this. I've gone and talked to a lot of right-wingers in my life. I've asked them about gender. I've had to, as a part of my life, growing up as a conservative while being trans and eventually coming to terms with my transness. I've had this conversation. And if you get conservatives all in a room, none of them will give you the same answer, but all of them will insist that their answer is written in.
To be honest, that's why I keep the chat out too, because OBS gives you a tiny fucking window because you have all the other shit that's underneath. So the split, I actually don't know how people use chat in OBS anyway. They have slobs, and slobs gives you a whole section of your screen for that. I don't know why OBS doesn't do that, but slobs is also insane. So I only use it for a virtual camera. But yeah, that's why I keep the chat out like this. That way I can actually read that. But I might have been looking at over here. Because Alex is over here on Twitch chat, so I don't want you to feel left out here.
Law and cannot be changed. That a woman, whatever their definition is, cannot be a man, and a man cannot be a woman, because their definition is strictly binary. There are two types of people in the world, and it's either their chromosomes, or maybe their genitalia, or maybe their capability for reproduction, or maybe their motherliness, or maybe their submissiveness. One of those things is the iron law of heaven.
Okay, I end up in this situation.
It is essentialism, and it is, interestingly, more difficult to come to an answer, a coherent answer of something like what is a woman or what is a man with conservatives as a group than it is with somebody like me, a a gender freak, so to say. But here on the left, most people are at least somewhat familiar. Even liberals are at least somewhat familiar with the term non-binary. But there's something unfortunate that has happened, and I think that it's a result of binary thinking not actually being fully deconstructed. And this, what I'm talking about is the third gender phenomenon, which is that it's the not man nor woman, but a secret third thing. It's this idea that the genders aren't he and she, but they're he and she and they, and that there's actually just a third gender, that it's a gender.
Literally just said that. Yay.
Trinary instead of a binary. But I think that that's absurd, and it completely it completely ignores the observational reality of how gender works in our world.
True.
And also just basically locks you into an essentialist thought. Okay, well, you are either man or woman, or you're 50% of each. And that leads to all kinds of assumptions and prejudices and whatever. It doesn't really solve any problems. And there's an interesting, it's weird because the way that this phenomenon manifests is sometimes in the form of hostility to gender identities that are not just they. They, the non-binary they. You see maybe hostility to neopronouns. You have hostility to what are sometimes referred to as xenogenders. You will see hostility to all kinds of different structures of gender.
Goddamn, I literally just
into
fucking said that.
An essentialist trinary now instead of an essentialist binary. And I think that's really intellectually a weak position, and that people should think a little deeper about it. Because any trans person, even a binary trans person, is non-binary to a certain degree. If you're a trans person, if we're looking at this in the binary model, right? Or even let's say the trinary model, okay? If you go from living your life in one gender category to another gender category, you are crossing in your life's experience all the way across a million different micro expressions at any moment, where when you're starting hormones, when you're not identifying with she, her, but you know that you're trans, when you are identifying with she, her, but maybe you're just wearing a hoodie because you don't want anybody to see you or whatever. And so every trans person is in one way or another challenging the binary. They are existing outside of the binary. And the reason for this is because the binary is not a true concept. The binary is false. It is purely a construct. And the world doesn't exist in that way. And also, I think this even applies to some cis people. What happens when someone who identifies as female and was born and assigned female at birth, cuts their hair short and gets misgendered or is perceived as a boy or a man? They have had a cross-gender experience that shows that it is not so easy to sort people into two distinct categories. And in fact, even in popular culture, we have other categories, the tomboy and the tomgirl, or some people might call them a sissy or a fruit or anything. There's a whole bunch of different terms some of them are meaner than others. The femboy. These all exist in the popular consciousness, but they're not acknowledged. I see what's going on there. And they're not acknowledged because there is
let me fix that for you, buddy.
Severe and often violent adherence
I thought that was my bad.
To a binary. And this carries over even into people who have begun to think a little bit bigger about gender. Even in liberals and lefties sometimes carry these prejudices with them. And so I've said all of that. The next part, of course, is to talk about non-binary people and how they engage.
I mean, at this point, you can start another one, or you can keep that one. It's whatever.
I've actually seen a shocking amount of struggle in many spaces with the idea of femboys taking HRT.
I can't believe Minnie found the way to break my chat. Like, that's literally it. I'm like, what is going on here? Oh my god. So that is, I guess, one way to break chat. So figure you didn't see my mention posting that Rick Shaw did. Is it really 20 minutes? I mean, that's so wild. Well, okay, so maybe I will hook up with the other computer here. We might be able to figure out a way to work this out. I've been on a rickshaw many times in India. I tip them well because they work hard. Fuck yeah, it's wild. I've only ridden in a rickshaw once, and it was unironically in Missouri.
With the idea of non-binary people having access to HRT or to gender-affirming surgeries. And it's one of the strangest things to me,
that's the one.
because I feel like it betrays a complete misunderstanding of how any of this works.
Which burns at a different temperature, I guess. I think higher or lower.
People to be able to get access to hormones. And the reason that we advocate for people to have access to gender-affirming surgeries that make them happy is because it makes them better. It makes them fuller people. It makes them happier. It makes them whole. It makes them feel good about themselves and live fully fulfilled lives. It alleviates pain. It allows them to express themselves truthfully as themselves. We don't do it because you should on like just a very cold level, you should be able to switch the switch. Any argument for HRT that applies to a binary trans person also applies to a non-binary person. And there's an interesting thing I've seen come up in some of these discussions, which is, well, there's no science that says that femboys are happier or non-binary people are happier when they're given access to HRT. And to that I say, you are full of shit. First of all, there actually are and already have been some studies, admittedly few, done on non-binary and gender non-conforming people explicitly. But secondly, many people who are identified by the medical system in this very moment are currently actually non-binary people. And the reason for that is because the medical system only acknowledges the binary in many cases. Now, there are some exceptions to this. There are indeed clinics and some hospitals even that acknowledge non-binary and even will collect data and listen to that. But as it stands currently, there are doctors who are very well educated and plugged in helping trans people live their best lives.
Holy fucking goddamn. Boy Meets Minnie with a $30 dono. Slightly less broke saw. God damn, my dude. Holy fucking shit. Big dick motherfucker. Whoa. Shit. Oh my god. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. Jesus. Yeah, mama spitting. Very true. Fucking cry. God damn.
Who regularly and knowingly and happily help their
love you more than Beer Bash Johnson. Just don't tell Beer Bash Johnson.
Patients their non-binary patients get access to hormones. But a lot of the research, the biggest research that has been done on a purely binary lens. Which does not mean that non-binary people don't benefit from HRT. It simply means that the measurements being done are completely insufficient. If someone was to do a science experiment that said that the Earth was 50% air and 50% Earth, and you looked at that and you said, Well, that's not true, because there's water, and there's trees, and there's animals, and there's clouds, which are like a mixture of air and earth. And they just said, well, no. You see, clouds count as air, water counts as earth, animals count as earth, birds count as air. You would go, wait, that's crazy. That's absurd. And the same thing applies to non-binary people. Just because scientists used a flawed taxonomical system or a very limited taxonomical system for certain aspects of society does not mean that we should somehow restrict femboys or gender non-conforming people or non-binary people from getting access to the healthcare that they need to thrive. It's almost like we learn new things all the time, right? And that we should prioritize humanity and human needs above that. Above a literally reactionary approach to science. That we have to, we can only help someone if we have a study that happens to land on the correct taxonomical system and also prove that that's ridiculous. It's absurd. We don't do this for any other situation. An example of this is we give medicine to all kinds of different humans, even though every human is different. Every human has different genetics. Every human has different allergies, all kinds of different things. We still will give medicine to humans if they need it, because we know that it tends to work on humans. And if there's an adverse effect, we'll either take caution as necessary, or we will wait and see if there's an adverse reaction. You see what I mean?
True.
So I wanted to address a couple of those things. But also, this applies to law as well. Because let's say, I'm just going to imagine an imaginary law here. Let's say there is a law that is written that says all trans people,
very helpful.
Or let's specify it. Trans women and trans men have rights. Now, what happens if you are not a trans woman or a trans man, but you are non-binary in some way, but your needs and rights are similar to those of a trans woman or a trans...
I feel like this kind of goes right into what I was talking earlier about advocating for okay, I mean, I guess like a lot of this does, but specifically about advocating for non-binary people and being more inclusive and not utilizing the anti-NB rhetoric by or just essentialist rhetoric in general by TERFs. I think this very much goes hand in hand with that, because yes, not by holding to a specific essentialization of gender, we are in fact excluding people who otherwise do need to be included in discourse. And it goes above and beyond just talking about whatever the fuck it is that they for the most part they just like to talk about domestic violence and rape. It's like the only thing that they fucking goddamn could possibly focus on. Medical treatments, like it's important. We'll talk about it when we want to like virtue signal that we're actual feminists and shit. But most of the time it's just the other stuff. But that's why essentialist rhetoric is something that should be pushed back against in any way you find it, because it does feed into this very topic where we start to not consider NB people or trans men when it comes to medical necessities, which I do know that Demon Mama is bigly on. So fucking A, bro. But that's
trans man. Do you think that it would be just for you to be excluded from having rights simply because the lawmaker wrote the category incorrectly? Of course not. We can acknowledge that both morally and ethically, it would be obvious to either revise the law immediately or to acknowledge that the law was too limited to interact with reality. So you can see where I'm going with this. I have seen people, I have seen some very weird things come up once we get to this point, which is sometimes people will bring up concerns about drugs and surgery. And it will go something like this. Well, you know, sure, I can acknowledge that there's a chance that, you know, this is them saying this. I can acknowledge there's a chance that, you know, non-binary people benefit from HRT, but since we don't really have any studies, our studies are flawed and inevitably do actually include non-binary people benefiting from HRT, well, we should probably just wait on that. We don't want to put them in danger. Hormones are, you know, they're a drug, right? Almost everything is a drug. That's my response to that is damn near everything that you ingest is a drug of some sort, okay? And there are so many drugs.
Okay, unironically, I literally had this conversation earlier today. My Etsy order finally shipped. Hell yeah. Wait, don't we have that? People, oh, we have people love. I'm like, don't we have that one? That's the Kyryu emote. We got one for Alex too.
That are not you know, legislated in any way, or are over the counter. And if we do an analysis of if we're real and we analyze the actual risks of HRT, we can very quickly realize that the risks of HRT are well within the ability of people to understand and consent to. We have such a solid understanding of what estrogen and testosterone and progesterone does to your body. Not a perfect understanding, but a good one, that it is easy to communicate this to people. You notice how that there's no regulation on, there's essentially no regulation. There is some regulation, but there's very little regulation on something like caffeine. Caffeine is a stimulant that a lot of people get addicted to, a stimulant that can kill you. It's actually surprisingly easy to overdose on caffeine, and people do it. And yet, we allow people to consume caffeine at will because we assume that as agents that they are able to analyze the benefits and downsides of caffeine and decide whether they want to drink that coffee, that tea, or most shockingly, that energy drink.
Hey.
There's all kinds of drugs like this. I could go on for hours.
But I need it.
And by the way, I want to be clear. This is why I argue explicitly for a informed consent model for trans healthcare. I think that a informed consent model where a trans person can go to a doctor and say, I am trans, I would like to pursue hormone therapy. And then the doctor says, okay, let me discuss the risks with you. You understand the risks. Here you go. Is the only rational model that I know of. Okay, it is the only model that makes any sense. It from a enforcement perspective, from a moral perspective, and from a health perspective.
Oh shit! I just realized they're going to be coming from all fucking sides.
Model puts a doctor in the position of interrogating the most internal recesses of the mind, and also puts a doctor in the position of imposing a absurd standard on what are very clearly social constructs, the social construct of gender. And I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea to have a doctor have to sit there and go, is this person really trans? It also creates a antagonism between the well-being of a patient who is seeking to better their life by shaping their body and the doctor. People have the right to shape their own body that they live in. Doctors aren't able to, doctors don't forbid you legally from working out, from eating or dieting. They don't forbid you from putting on makeup. They don't forbid you from sculpting your abs if you so desire it. They don't. In
some cases, they barely fucking inform you on the proper ways to fucking treat that shit, to be honest.
Forbid you from having your eyebrows done. They don't forbid you from cutting your hair. All of these things can have negative effects, and yet doctors don't gatekeep on that. And the reason for that is because people are agents and should be able to control what they do with their own body.
Right.
And in fact, it is very important for people to be able to take care of their body how they desire and how they wish. It is deeply important. Now, that is something that has been heavily researched. On top of all of this that I've said so far, and I hope all of this is making sense to you so far, but on top of all of this, there is the obvious fact, which is that there is no controversy around HRT being given to cis people. It is remarkably easy for cisgender people to get access to HRT to the degree that
Alex, you
I
called
always
it.
Tell this anecdote, but
It's
you
been
can
a while
just
since I've
verify
seen
whether
this,
or not
so-
this is true. You can just search it for yourself online, whether you
Might
believe
even
me or
appear in
not. But
chat,
I
who knows?
remember when I used to work in a garage, cleaning and doing maintenance on cars.
I do be
back
showing
when I
up.
was in college I worked that for a little bit, and there used to be this commercial up in upstate New York. It was like, are you feeling low energy? Are you feeling like you just can't quite, you're not quite yourself? Well, it could be that your testosterone's low.
Shit.
Call Dr. whatever for HRT today. Call my office and ask for HRT today.
Bimbosa.
I'm not even kidding you. That was the ad. Okay? Yeah, there we go. Spirogal. Billboards like this are all over around Chicagoland. Getting access to T or estrogen is incredibly easy for is incredibly easy for cis people, to the degree that it's no difficulty. It's literally, I've spoken to cis people who've gone to their doctor and been like, I feel like my T-lows, doc.
I've actually heard the wonder on whether or not several state legislators just here in Missouri may or may not be taking tea, and could otherwise explain some of the hyper aggressive amosexual culture, or amosexual expression, cultural expression that we be seeing. That is something that has been posited to me. I mean, for instance, is Josh Hawley taking tea? If not, like, should he be? It could help.
My T is low, doc. And then they get their blood done, and the doctor's like, well, it's in the normal range, but it's lower than the maximum. Here's some testosterone, here's some testosterone injections for you to get that up to a level where you're comfortable. So gender dysphoria, which that is what that is the applicable to gender dysphoria, is totally fine and uncontroversial in cis people. But all of a sudden, when it's trans people, specifically when it's non-binary trans people, it's a problem. We have to be all suspicious, and we have to pretend like it's the most dangerous thing on the planet. Come on, we know what this is.
True.
We know what this is. That's prejudice. That's discrimination.
Right.
Redcon 404 says, this is reminding me of the episode of King of the Hill where Hank goes through a second puberty because Peggy puts testosterone in his lemonade. Yes.
I don't know if I saw that one. Holy shit.
That the time has come for people to embrace a more holistic politics around gender. Out of fear and sometimes necessity, people take the safest approach in their interpretation of gender. Well, some people just want to be the other gender. And some people just want to be the other gender, you know, in both directions. Some people just want to be men and some people just want to be women and then leave it at that. When in reality, we know that it's more complicated than that. That there are people, many people, who aren't happy in either one of these binary positions, but could be very happy with their own self-defined position in the world. We should embrace that. It is not any harder to win that right than it is to win the right to flip the genders. It is a trick that people tell themselves, that it's easier to win a just gender flip rather than challenging this absurd idea of gender. And of course, if we don't do that, then it leaves us in a position where trans people of all types, where even binary trans people are put at a disadvantage because we didn't actually decide to challenge the issue as a whole. Instead, we tried to find a way to compromise with people who don't even believe in our existence at all. They believe that God writes, you know, woman or man on a little envelope and gives it to the stork when your soul is born. You know, the idea that like you can win that position more is just simply not true, and it leaves people out to dry.
And that's
because
so
it means
fucking
that
true,
the
though.
only answer is to say, okay, doctors, now you get to try and make a decision as to whether you.
I mean, don't get me wrong, that would be really sad, but I think I can make do. There was actually a time when I did not drink any caffeinated beverages after noon because it just wouldn't. I couldn't sleep at night, and that led me to just like not drinking caffeine at all. That seems like it's a fucking so unbelievable at this point, but it was several years ago.
Think any person who comes into your office is a real trans person or not, which means non-binary people have to lie about themselves, and binary people have to be afraid that they might be miscategorized and restricted pointlessly from HRT. Do you see what I'm talking about how absurd it is to just say, it's easier to just, you know, I bet those guys who call us groomers all the time will totally agree if we just stick to a binary model and don't ever think about the non-binary model. It's not actually any easier. It's actually just as hard. You're just winning a worse prize at the end. You're picking on a struggle with people who call you a groomer all the time, and you're just choosing a worse result for yourself and for everyone else. Bastet's Passion says so often this difference is in so-called strategic position is just a mask for thinking that NBs aren't real, or thinking that they're cringe, or whatever. There's all kinds of reasons that people engage in this type of shit, but it must be rejected. It needs to be rejected. And part of the reason why I'm so carefully going through all of these arguments here and taking so much time.
No, and that's okay.
Is because I want the people who watch my channel, the people who are a part of my community, I want you to be equipped, and also because I want non-binary people out there to know that this community stands with you.
There it is. But yeah, I mean, it goes hand in hand with what I mentioned previously. I mean, there was so much. So. And I guess this kind of goes hand in hand with what I mentioned earlier about, hey, you guys remember, you guys remember back in the day when liberals used to be like, TERF is a slur, and they would totally like, or whatever, TERFs would be like, TERF is a slur, and like liberals would totally buy that. Y'all remember that? Like when people were actually like, I don't know, is TERF a slur? Is that inherently misogynistic? I guess it kind of is, because like, you know, they just want women's safe spaces and shit. And now, like, I mean, there are still people who will like argue about women's spaces, but they try to be more inclusive. And that's I think the biggest problem with the TERFs, right? Is that they still argue the same rhetoric, but they try to be more inclusive to trans women, but it's only just to trans women. It's still, they don't realize or recognize, or they don't care to the depths of depravity of NB phobia and trans misandry. You know, and to be honest, a lot of liberals who struggle with identity politics, with the weaponization of identity politics. How many times? Shit, I don't even know. Maybe there's a few stragglers in the chat, or a few stragglers who be watching my. You know, we got a lot of subs on YouTube, right? We got a lot of follows on Facebook. I guarantee there's somebody out there who would see this. And if I said, fuck, I lost it. Wait. Okay, but anyway, yeah, it just the NB phobia is significantly more prevalent, I think, than most people would realize, and it's normalized rhetoric, and I think that's a big problem in a lot of those spaces. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I lost it for a second, but now we got it. If I said, and I know this because I've seen this in the comments on shit that I've tweeted out or posted online. If I said that misandry is actually a real problem in radical feminist circles, I would get the response, well, misandry isn't actually real because of patriarchy, and because all men are benefit from the system of patriarchy and their positions in the system of patriarchy. So because men hold the power structure, because that power structure is aligned toward men, misandry isn't actually real because it's because it's not systemic, and therefore misandry doesn't exist. Like I've seen that so many fucking times. I've heard that so many fucking times, and it makes me absolutely fucking insane. And here's why: because A, it's just incel fuel. Okay, that's real easy. But I think the part that most of these liberals who fucking who fall into this rad fem trap is that they don't realize that misandry includes trans misandry, you dumb fucks. So if we're going to argue that trans misandry isn't real, which some of them will, I've actually seen, the arguments that, trans men who pass are otherwise benefit from patriarchy just as much as cis men, and therefore are, just as predatory as cis men, and blah, blah, blah. I've actually seen that argument. But I think that should be enough to really grab it. And I don't know that it has to. I think that it's weird that it has to be posited in such a way, because it should just be simple enough to just say that, okay, this thing bad because it's not egalitarian. Okay. This thing bad because it also because incels fucking jerk themselves off to it, because they actually are they actually are the misogynists that you're worried about, all these fucking red pill fucks and shit, like they're the guy, right? And they love this shit. It feeds them. It wakes them up in the morning. They don't drink coffee. They fucking, they wake up and they fucking, they get on fucking Facebook and they fucking, look up Clementine Ford's latest fucking whatever the fuck it is. Oh my God, I can't believe she fucking says I'm the problem with society because I'm cis and white and I like titties. And then they go out in the world and then I don't know what the fuck it is that they do every day. They fucking probably stay at home and get on Twitter and harass, trans girls and shit, with cartoon PFPs. That's probably literally all they do. But the point is, like, that's part of what they do, right? But the idea that you have to go so far as to reason with people as being like, okay, this is inherently transphobic and this is why, before anyone will be like, oh my God, I never considered that. I mean, I guess that's good that, like, people are being more responsive to trans people and being like, okay, well, this isn't, but it's like kind of weird that, like, you have to stretch it that fucking far into being like, okay, well, this is transphobic. This is, this is queerphobic as fuck, because, half the time they won't give a shit about the queerphobia anyway, because, because they all have the weird biases against men and, the gay men. So obviously it must be problematic in some type of way, because they have a long fucking 4chan fucking list of shit that they just want to cite at you. But, anyway, I see that shit constantly from normies who will quote some of these larger accounts in these circles, and a lot of these circles, again, I know about it because I used to be that guy. I used to be the male feminist, as you were, and I've said this before. I think that the male feminist is the most cuck cringe ass shit in the fucking world, and it's they're the last thing on the fucking planet they are is feminist. the last thing in the fucking world they are is egalitarian. To identify as, you know, as a feminist, and to identify as an egalitarian trying to push a message like that is something completely different than what most of these folks in most of these communities are, because they are looking at gender from an essentialist viewpoint only, either at themselves or at others. And when it comes to non-binary people, when it comes to trans dudes, they don't miss. They just continue to draw lines where they don't need to be, and it's wild to me. So anyway, but that was the first thing that made me think of. And you don't have to go too far to hear that type of rhetoric, but it's totally fucking insane to me that has made its way into the mainstream. And now you see liberals, not radical feminists, not lesbian separatists, just normal people who would identify as feminists. They would just say, "Oh yeah, I'm a feminist. I think that egalitarianism is good. I think that I think that reproductive rights, that people should have them. I think that that I'm pro-choice. I think that girl boss is good and whatever." And then they'll quote the most brain dead, weird, fucking cucked, fucking gender essentialist shit that has ever come from these circles before. And it's in fact in service of patriarchy, to be quite honest. In not just so much in the MB-phobia, because I know that's a part of it, and I use that as an example because that's what we're talking about here. But in more ways than that, it's in service of it's infantilizing women in such a way to make the state of womanhood in and of itself as fucking powerless as possible. Not just to consider that women are the prey gender or whatever, or the good gender, as the incels like to say, but more that it detracts from the possibility. I'm not a big fan of the whole girl boss shit anyway. I think that's just a big circle jerk. But, if we want to give credence to that, it detracts from that. People should be, I don't know. Trans masc and MB peeps get left out. Right. It just, well, Minnie, you already know some of the circles that have inspired me in more ways than one to be more outspoken about this. And it just, like I say, that's just something that grabbed my attention, and part of why I really wanted to play this video on stream. Like I say, it's been a little while. I'm pretty sure I was here for this one, but I think I might have been silently lurking. But I do seem to recall a lot of this, and it really grabbed my attention. I knew it was coming anyway. I heard Demon Mama talking about it. But anyway, I love that, and that's part of what keeps me around in Demon Mama's community, is because a lot of I don't necessarily know that we would agree 100% even on a lot of these issues, because we may see things differently. But there's a lot of things that she mentions that I can take so much fucking value in when it comes to intersectionality, especially. And when it comes to, relations, to people's relations to, toward their gender and toward the genders of others. And it just, I don't know. I can't say enough, good things about it. I'm sure there are places where, Demon Mama and I may disagree. I'm sure of it. But, for the most part, there's a lot that I take from her content, with regard to a lot of sociological issues.
It stands with me because I'm non-binary. But I mean, the other non-binary people out there who aren't me,
and her aesthetic is cool.
My community is going to stand with you, and I am always going to push for people to advocate for this type of politics, a politics that recognizes the fundamental flaws of a binary structure, that recognizes that the only path to a healthy access to HRT is a informed consent model, a model where these hormones that our body produce naturally are not to be treated like narcotics, are not to be treated like some sort of dangerous drug, conveniently only when it's trans people who want them. That is what I'm pushing for. And I want people to know that. And I want people in my community to take that position as well. I want to encourage you to take that position with courage. And I want to give you the tools to take that position. I do not think, and this is where I'm just going to be a little bit more firm, because so far this has been sort of a methodical explanation of my beliefs and my arguments on various aspects of the discussion around non-binary identities. But this part, I want you to hear me loud and clear. We do not gain anything as a community, as a world, by cutting out or leaving behind so-called inconvenient members of our community. Regardless of who you think that might be, whether you think the neo-pronoun people are too inconvenient because their names get made fun of on 4chan, or whether it's the xenogender people that you think are cringe or whatever, or inconvenient because their names get made fun of on 4chan, or the non-binary people who you think are inconvenient because, well, oh, wait, their names get made fun of on 4chan.
Okay, I do remember that part.
I don't care. We do not win by splitting solidarity. You don't win a war, whether it's a culture war or a physical war, by routing. You don't win by not standing together side by side. Okay? It's not how it works. You lose. And even if you were to win, it would be a false victory, because like I said, you would be winning something that was untruthful. You would be winning a state of the world where the random whims of your local doctor get to decide whether you're trans enough or not to actually get access to what you need to be happy and thrive and live the life that you deserve to live. For what? For what? What victory are you getting in that position? It's a fool's bargain. It is a truly foolish bargain. We don't win by breaking that type of solidarity. We don't win by throwing other people under the bus. We don't win by out of fear of the reactionary, othering other people who've done nothing wrong. And of course, it literally only helps them. Because remember, even the most stealth, binary, passing trans person in the world is still a groomer freak, quote unquote, to these people. You don't win anything by trying to compromise with people who think that God made you wrong and that you need to be thrown into hell. You will not win. Thankfully, hell is on your side. And is it not a powerful side? We are stronger together. We are stronger when we encourage one another, when we work to liberate one another, when we don't balk and let our spines turn to jelly in the face of conservative hatred and bigotry.
That's pretty good.
We do not win on that front. We stand together.
I do enjoy the jelly spine comment. That's pretty sexy.
Now, I think I touched on basically everything that I can think of when it comes to non-binary stuff. But if there's anything here that anybody has, or any questions or contentions or whatever, please drop them in chat. Or if you're watching this video in the future, feel free to leave them in the comments and I'll try to respond. I've been thinking about this for a while and putting this together, but it's still, I'm a streamer, so sometimes I miss things. Subs and soda. Maybe this is a dumb question, but is there a difference between HRT and just
HRT is dangerous. Meanwhile, conversion therapy.
Taking hormones. Right. I'm a cis guy and will probably have to take testosterone for gynecomastia.
That's a good point.
There's not really a difference. It's just a difference in terminology. HRT refers to taking replacing one hormone with a different hormone, whereas taking hormones is just like adding a hormone to your current mix. But the truth is, when you break it down, everybody's body has some estrogen and some testosterone in it. And if you're adding T to your body, you're taking up receptors that could be used by estrogen that is already in your body. So it's literally just it's just a semantic distinction. There's not truly that much of a difference. Skunksy says, can I just say thank you? I'm an emotional wreck. You're welcome. And in truth, you do not have to thank me for standing to a basic standard of morality and beliefs. I do not believe in kowtowing to bullies. I do not believe in pulling the ladder up behind me. I do not believe in leaving behind people who are deemed by some other random people to be inconvenient or complicated. I don't care. Sometimes it's complicated. Guys, here's another example. Here's another example. You want to know what's really hard to do? Convince people that evolution is true. But that doesn't mean that you don't do it. That doesn't mean that you don't say, no, actually evolution is true. Even if it's inconvenient. It's super inconvenient to try and convince people that evolution is true. Evolution is complicated and people have all kinds of ridiculous arguments against it. But it's still worth doing because it's the truth. It is better to stand strong on a truthful position. You are more powerful for it. We are more powerful for it. Join me on the hellish left, the Giga Chad left, the left that's not afraid of what it believes in. The left that stands for what it actually believes and stands for the truth. No more of this coward shit. Stand with me. Real. Stand with me.
I literally just said that. I literally just said that. When it comes to a lot of the NB phobia, absolutely. You know, even if it's coming from, you know, the left or whoever, people who fucking think they're leftists or people who fucking claim to be leftists, force them to prove themselves. You know what I mean? Tankies, woke scolds, whoever, force them to prove themselves. If they can't do it, fuck them. Absolutely. You know, I know a lot of people who fall into some of these categories and whatever, and they may someday, I mean, God willing, right? They may someday figure it out and realize, you know, that a lot of this virtue signaling fucking bullshit is antithetical toward the ultimate goals of, well, in this case, you know, egalitarianism and whatnot. You know, but until then, force them to defend their positions. Force them to fucking, you know, to come clean about this. I mean, if they truly believe in what they believe in, you know, give them an opportunity to really work out their positions on things like this. Whether they consider themselves, you know, anti-racist or trans-inclusive, or you know, a queer ally, or you know. Tomato friendly, whatever the fuck it is, right? Force them to be real about their positions. I don't think there's actually any problem with combating those type of ideologies from those individuals, because if we want this stuff to not spread in actually hurtful ways that can detract from messaging or operate as fuel for conservatives of whatever kind, right? Then it is important to make people reconsider their positions and find as close to objective truth and the most utility out of whatever it is that they, you know, claim to believe in. And for that's what I'm looking for. Force them to have the most utility out of it. If the shit is not, you know, as useful in the most widespread, you know, ways with the least amount of harm, that's the part that seems like everybody's missing is the least amount of harm part. But yeah, no, that was perfect.
There you go. There's my rant for you.
It was a good one. Much enjoyer.
Killjoy 40K says, I feel like people really forget that gender roles in psychology was literally invented by quacks and charlatans and should always be taken with a grain of salt because of how much detangling from those foundations still needs to be done. Of course.
Alex Roivas, that you? Holy shit, just said that in Twitch chat a little while ago. Holy fuck. True.
Gender roles in psychology, Freud was fucking nuts. And if you don't believe me, go read what Freud...
Media queer movements often include lower caste peeps because it's inconvenient, or caste is a separate struggle when it's absolutely not. Because it's inconvenient. Jesus. Oh, that just reeks of badness. Good God. Holy fucking shit. Also, let me see if this works. Oh, it worked. Hell yeah. Holy shit, though.
Freud actually said. Freud
was
so far off base. Now, he had some things that got people thinking, but he also did a lot of fucking absolutely psychotic shit. And he treated some of his patients like hell. Freud was not a good guy, and most everything that he believed was later proven to be wrong. Just remember that, okay? Keep everything with a grain of salt, okay? And keep asking questions. Keep looking deeper. And never assume that just because something is the way that it's done now, that's the right answer, okay? Louis Boy says, there's a Christian philosophy professor that told me that it's wrong that trans people shouldn't change their bodies because he believes that trans people should reconciliate their mind and body, whatever that means.
Jesus.
Changing your body is a way to reconciliate your mind and body. And it's often the right way. Sometimes it's not. There are circumstances where the reconciliation of your mind and body involves saying, hey, this decision isn't for me. But there are also situations where it is. Are you going to say that somebody who wants to lose weight shouldn't lose weight because they should just accept their body the way God made them? Are you trying to tell me that if somebody has a cold that they shouldn't take medicine for it because they should just reconciliate their mind and their body, and that feeling bad from a cold is just the way it's supposed to be? That's absurd. It's an anti-intellectual position. It's ridiculous. Reject it outright. Sophie says, as a cis,
literally,
call you
literally the Jimmy.
You called yourself a filthy cis.
Literally the Jimmy Swaggart position. Truly.
As a filthy cisgender, this stuff is fascinating to me. I've actually become more comfortable in myself and my identity from interacting with trans people because they're some of the nicest and most accepting people out there, and I feel comfy and at home with them. Good. You should. I sometimes goof around and say that trans people exist on another level of reality. And obviously, some trans people are...
Literally, Mater Ursa talking earlier about furries. Huh. Were you also in the silent chat?
Dumb as shit. It's just true. There are trans people of all types. There are some dumb asshole trans people out there. Some would argue that I'm one of them. I don't think I am. I think I'm cool. But trans people cool. On the base level, they are challenging gender, which is so ingrained in our society, which means that you're engaging with a group of people who just think completely differently, by and large, about structures that are painful and hurtful. Gender is horrific. It is so bad to men and women. It is so bad to cis people. Gender is so... The structure of gender, especially in America, is fucking backwards. This men don't cry, women get in the kitchen, women need to constantly be the skinniest they can possibly...
See, that's one place we might disagree, though, is that women definitely should get in the kitchen. Canceled. No, but in all seriousness, though, that's exactly why it's important to combat this kind of rhetoric in general. Where the fuck am I going? Oh my god!
be, and if they don't have big tits, they
Fighting
may as well not exist. This type of shit is
misogyny and transmisogyny
to cis people and trans people alike. And trans people just kind of take the step and say, I should be able to live wherever I want in this nebulous mess zone. Mara K. Grizzly says, oh, it's so interesting. The people who argue against changing people's bodies actually will then argue that cis people should change their bodies if they deviate from ideals in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, it's actually crazy. The people who are like, it's against God's will to change your body to be a woman or a man or whatever you want to be. And then they'll be like, my wife, you need to lose some goddamn weight and you need to get a boob job so you can make me happier. God said so. They're deranged. It's deranged. Yep, deranged. Skunksy says, I'm trans as fuck and I've been dying on the inside for years now, and you're right, that doesn't help anyone, much less myself. No, it doesn't. Take gender into your own hands. Ascend the chains of gender. Free yourself from them.
True.
You are going to be in good company. There are many of us. There are many of us. Killjoy 40K says the lack of acknowledgement of the body horror of puberty and gender identity is unreal. People literally lose their minds during puberty because of the inherent dysphoria attached to the life event. Yes. Not even just trans people, cis people lose their fucking minds during puberty because their body is changing in ways they don't understand and they can't always cope with it.
I literally just fucking, like, the IRL, of course, but I literally just fucking had that conversation like right fucking moments before hitting the stream button. Not even shitting you.
Sometimes, like, constantly this happens. This happens constantly to people who aren't even close to being trans. But also, trans people have to sit there and look at the fact, oh my God, my body is going to change in ways that are horrifying to me, and we're supposed to say, oh, that doesn't matter. Just suffer.
Just do it.
That's backwards. It's ridiculous. It's a rejection of agency. It's a rejection of liberation. Anybody who argues that you should just have to sit there while your body does something to you that you truly do not want it to do does not believe in liberation and needs to develop their politics further. I wanted to read this comment.
Just like me, for real.
I got a dono. First of all, Toxic Cancun, thank you very much for the $15 in super chats. The first one says, non-binary is flexible, but most likely to be a woman, or this part may come from bad faith. Non-binary as in you do not give a fuck, or both. I appreciate your channel, so I hope that you understand. And then you said, I understand now, I get it, yes. Non-binary is a broad umbrella that expresses all kinds of different ways to live your life that don't fall into a binary. As it turns out, in truth, the big secret, here it is. You guys stuck around for this whole time. The true secret is that none of it's real. None of gender is real, okay? We are just with our bodies, and we either like them or don't to varying degrees, and there are all kinds of complicated reasons for that, and we should be able to find a way to be happy in our bodies. We should be able to find a way to be happy in our lives. Cis people vary from the binary constantly. I said that in the very beginning. The binary is false. It was constructed. Somebody put up shitty wood panels around what they thought were the ideals, but it doesn't even work.
Hey, Carpe, good to see you.
This is why I am a gender ascensionist. I believe we must ascend this limited concept of gender. We must move beyond it into a happier world where people can just be who they are and be attracted to who they want to be attracted to. It can if you want it to be, Snoogin. It's up to you. You can decide whether that fits or not. I mean, personally, I think if you're comfortable with that, and if you know.
As a woman, if I could cook, these birds can't even decide what they want to eat in the drive-thru.
I personally would say you totally could consider yourself non-binary. You want to, it's up to you. That's for you to decide. Louis Boy says, adolescence is fucking insane for cis people. The cis guys have gender dysphoria and suffer if they're not masculine enough, and cis girls suffer if puberty makes them more masculine at all. It's during puberty that we should teach people about how gender doesn't fucking matter, to make gender their bitch. Yeah.
Right?
All right. That's, I think, everything that I have to say.
That was perfect.
I will probably revisit this topic in the future.
1,000 times.
If you like this segment, please subscribe to my channel. I talk about gender all the time. It's a topic I talk about a lot, in addition to all kinds of other things. But I would love to have your subscribe and your like down below. Thank you very, very much for watching Demon Mama.
Demon Mama, 100 years. 100 years, Demon Mama. Demon Mama forever. Soundtrack by Gayfish. This is also pretty fun. 100 years, Demon Mama. Alright. It's a funny emote. Alright. I mean, that was kind of perfect, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I really couldn't have said that better, which is why, you know, we let Demon Mama say it, right? Demon Mama has been saying it longer. And, you know, I very much enjoy her content. It's pretty fucking fantastic. So listen up. If you like this kind of content, you can, of course, subscribe on the website. Go to chainsawccc.com/memberships, or just hit the subscribe button when you get there. You know what I mean? Monetary contribution to support the stream. Do like Boy Meets Mini. You get all kinds of fucking wonderful highlighted names in chat. Make you look all cool and shit. Definitely appreciate that, buddy. I'm gonna spread that love around. We're gonna do a little bit of math. We're gonna spread that love around. We got one for Vinny and Will Raw. We'll spread that in for some OG chatters. Make the chat a little more pretty and things. I definitely appreciate that. Or subscribe on YouTube, follow on Twitch, follow on Facebook, because we'd be trying to stream over there, but it'd be causing us fucking problems. So I don't know. We may have to think of something different. I may have to plug in a laptop or grab the desktop and move it somewhere else and try a different thing. But yeah. No, listen, I don't usually ask folks to do this, because, you know, typically whenever we do React content, it's either with, you know, one of the homies that we appreciate, or it's, you know, making fun of somebody who's fucking insane. But yeah, hey, if you want to, you know, I left the link to the Demon Mama video, VOD, if you will, for this segment in chat. Feel free and, you know, go over there. And as Demon Mama says, raid with love. And be like, hey, coming over here from Chainsaw Stream. You watched this video and we all thought it was, however the fuck you thought it was. Unless you thought it sucked, then say fucking nothing. Definitely, if you're going to say something, don't put my name involved in that shit. Actually, if you're going to say something mean, don't say anything at all. Goddamn. You know, but like, if you know, go over there and show Demon Mama some love, you know? I'm pretty sure everybody who's fucking already in this channel subscribed to her channel anyway. It's on YouTube. It's pretty great. But yeah, you know. So I know we did the thing. But hey, I appreciate it, y'all. I am going to work. And I love you guys. Appreciate every single one of you who stopped by. Let's see. So thanks Carpe Pax for coming out to stream. Mata Ursa, of course, for coming out to stream. Will Raw, Warlord, Boy Meets Mini, the fucking goddamn superhero, coming out to stream and dropping off that fucking $30 dono on the website. Definitely appreciate that. God damn, so sexy. So sexy, my dude. You have no idea how much that helps, to be honest. It did be rough out here. Tifferbell and Rain for coming out. I think that's it. And Vinny was here. Vinny was definitely here. But I think that's it. I appreciate it, guys. I'm gonna find someone to raid out to. I'm gonna get my ass to fucking work. Of course, I will hang out for a little bit while y'all hang out for the raid. If you know how raids work, that's how they work. And we'll see who we can go kick it with. Let's see. Find out who's actually online here. Is that out? Oh shit. Check this out. Check this out. Check this out. I got one for you. I got one for you. All right. So here's what we're going to do, guys. You ready? Holy shit, that is so fucking loud. I don't even know why. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to raid the homie. You know the homie. He's going to not expect this. How long's he been streaming for? A little while? Is he still on? Is he doing things? I want this show to end. Actually, he might be getting off here. He's been streaming for a little bit. About an hour and a half. 86 minutes. Okay. All right, fuck it. Here's what we're going to do. I've only ever done this once, and it didn't work out the way I expected it to. So we're going to try something different. Y'all ready for this? We are going to raid a bigger streamer who streams on YouTube. Okay. We are going to raid a bigger streamer who streams on YouTube. So I'm kind of counting on you guys to push the cloud out here, okay? So here's what you do. When you get into the stream, you're going to jump in their chat. You're going to be like, Chainsaw Raid or some crazy fucking shit. I don't know. Big Dick fucking McGee Raid or whatever the fuck it is you want to say, right? Entirely up to you guys. I'm driving his rickshaw. My name is Blue. I'm literally the ADP. True. But all right. So yeah, we got it figured out. All right. So we're gonna raid over to Tipster. If you're in Twitch, chat, you're fucked. Sorry. I got nothing. If you're in Facebook, you're definitely fucked because that platform's broken. If you're on YouTube, I appreciate you. But everyone else who's on the website, you guys know how to raid, right? Actually, if you're on Twitch chat, if you're on any of the other chats, just come over to chainsawccc.com/live, and we're getting ready to raid out. Whenever we do raid out, which I'm going to go ahead and set that. So whenever we raid out, you're going to want to go ahead and hit that refresh button and let the streamer know that we are raiding out, and then they will know. And it's just that simple. I love you guys. I appreciate y'all coming out. It's been a lot of fun. And we'll catch you in the Flippity Fling Flong. Rock and roll. Refresh your browsers. Refresh your browsers for the raid. Refresh your browsers for the raid. Refresh your browsers for the raid. Don't forget to refresh your browsers for the raid.